Ted Lasso. Nothing but awards. have a giant glass that's probably used for something like some party chug. And I have years and years and years of movie stubs in there.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'll come across a stub. I'm like, I really went to the movies to see that.
Well, it's like they used to give you stubs and you had a movie souvenir.
Yeah.
Now it's just a receipt.
Yeah.
So even if you still saved them, you just be saving a bunch of receipts. So you can do your taxes later.
Which is not the same. It's not the same thing. It's not as special. I think we need to bring. No, I guess we need to hemp stubs, organic stubs for the environment. Well, first they got to get people to the movies. Maybe that'll get people back to the theaters.
People are back at the movies, man.
Stubs.
It's over. People love the movies again.
They need to. I know, because everybody was afraid. So, but Geek Commander's in the house. He's not afraid.
Nope.
He will show up to any theater at any given time and throw down on a movie. And you have some spoilers that are already like hot off the presses right now.
Hot spoilers?
Yeah, you were talking about Emmy. There was Emmy nominations literally just dropped, and you said our friend of the show, whether you knows it or not, Ted Lasso, 21 Emmy nominations. 21. Like, Apple's literally gonna just like
blackjack.
How much money do you? How rich do you want your great grandkids to be?
Yeah, back up the Brinks truck and let's try and get another season. We got that. There's Poker Face landed a couple of noms as well too, which I'm really happy about. So there's some.
Oh yeah, you and Mario were into that show.
It's really good. My only critique of that show is maybe we only needed like 6 episodes, but whatever. I still enjoyed it. I saw Wednesday got some nominations. What else? Last of Us got nominations. I think Last of Us gonna sweep.
Yeah.
Gonna sweep. Get all the Emmys.
I feel like that's a safe bet. They won't. Man, and what did I just see about Last of Us recently? That they were unsure how they were going to go past the season 3. That they were pretty confident they were going to go for a 2 and then a 3, but they didn't know how to go past that. But maybe they need to take notes from what The Walking Dead is doing right now.
Which is like, well, yeah, but Walking Dead spent many years just kind of doing nothing.
Yeah, floundering.
Going in circles.
I feel like they're coming back strong. They're driving to the hoop right now. So, what's up, YouTube? Happy almost Shark Week for all those who celebrate out there. Got Quint's shirt ready to go. I'm actually going to be not too far from his beer, the Nagasset beer.
What?
I'm going to be really close to the brewery, so you know I'm going.
Which brewery?
How do you say it? The beer he drinks in Jaws rips the tag. Nagasset.
Oh, really?
Yeah, going to
Nice.
be right there. So, going to be traveling next week, and I will take a Quint picture with that beer can, and maybe I'll even crush a water cup to show. What's up, Anthony?
You need the hat, though.
Yeah, you sent me that hat.
I sent you that Quint hat. I feel like you need that Quint hat.
Yeah, I got the limp. I kind of got the Quint limp.
Yeah.
I don't know if
Do you have the sweater?
No, but it really does look cozy.
Nice and warm, yeah.
Yeah, he's warm. He crosses his legs tight. He eats crackers. It looks really comfortable.
Yeah, one of my artist buddies, JC Richard, he's done tons of great posters, but he loves Jaws. He's up in Massachusetts, and so he's been doing this series of like art prints called Amity 74. And it's all Jaws themed prints of just random scenes, not from the movie, but just from kind of like if that had been true, like the era. So he's got some great shots of random things, like moments from the movie that you didn't actually quote unquote see. But he just released a great one of Quint and the mayor talking outside the actual hall with all the 4th of July banners everywhere that you don't actually see in the movie, but it's a great little shot that he does. And it's just, he does so much Jaws stuff. It's amazing.
I saw a thing on Jaws the other day, and you see these kinds of things all the time, rank movies, right? Because they've been having all the rank the Indiana Jones movies lately,
Yep.
And I always they have one for Jaws, and I'm just like, rank the Jawses. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4?
Yeah, exactly.
Is there any other way to do it?
That's exactly how you do it.
One and done.
1 being the best, 4 being the worst. So I mean that's pretty. They rank themselves. You don't need to rank the Jawses.
You rank them chronologically.
Yeah. Indiana Jones, I think there's some debate because it's like I'm always appalled when people tell me they don't like Temple of Doom. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
And then some people don't like The Last Crusade. I'm like, what? I don't understand that at all. I can understand liking one more than the other, but how do you not like one of those?
And now there's a new team that's coming out that like Kingdom of the Crystal Skulls better than the Dial of Destiny.
Yeah, I think that's a troll.
You think? They said it.
That's like those kids that dress up like minions and go to the movies. That's what that is. It's kind of a thing.
But they said even though it was bad, it felt more like Indiana Jones than Dial of Destiny did. You weren't on. Did you see it?
I have not seen Dial of Destiny yet.
So we won't talk about it then. What about The Flash? You saw The Flash?
I haven't seen The Flash yet either.
What?
I've been in work mode like crazy, and so like
it'll be on HBO Max next week.
Yeah, that's what I was like. From what I've heard, I'll be able to see it pretty soon.
It's been on HBO Max for like 2 weeks, I think.
Yeah, true story. You can probably. I think it's already on demand, and it'll be on the Max.
Yeah, usually summer is a time when I'm like I'm just ready for it because there's so many good movies coming out. But I've just been so swamped. Like going last night was the first time I've been able to go in a couple of weeks, and most of mine summer has been watching movies with my kids in the theaters. So I'm not taking them to. We were talked about maybe going to see The Flash, and even my kid was just kind of like, okay, maybe. But
wow, poor Flash. Well, like I said, I'm already mourning for Aquaman. I think it's gonna hit with a thud. We're gonna end a very questionable year for DC with a thud. Although I think Blue Beetle will be okay.
Is there any way to salvage that? How do you book this, Jeff? You're the promoter at Warner Brothers, and you've just had everything you've done for the last year bomb, and you're sitting on a turd that you got to push out at Christmas. How do you fix that? Go ahead.
The only way to fix it is you're going to have to spend more money and reshoot, and you're going to have to literally insert scenes that you probably took out. And they're not going to want to spend more money, so they might have to backgirl it. But if I had to book it, I would book it with a new ending and give that ending, which, again, I don't want to spoil Flash for you. Flash did not reboot the universe as promised, is the only thing. And they need to use Aquaman to say, come see Aquaman, and we will promise you this will reboot, and it'll show you the next step for DC.
Do you think Warner Brothers right now is realizing they made a mistake, and they took out the Batgirl movie? But now that I'm thinking about it, that might have made more money than Flash easily.
Yeah, and Michael Keaton was in that one too.
Michael Keaton was it? That's what I'm saying. It was you've got the same gimmick going. That might have brought in not having a person wanted for crimes in the present as the lead of the movie.
Yeah,
it helps. It helps the box office.
I'd be really curious to how bad this really was, because I mean, Flash was good.
It's like
that's the spoiler. It was good.
But the thing is, it's such a huge failure for like several reasons. But one thing I realized, or I heard some folks talking about it, because of the Ezra Miller situation and all that, they didn't get to do any like co-sponsorship stuff. There's no Flash on the Taco Bell cup. You know what I mean? There's no Flash on the breakfast cereal.
Yeah.
They got none of that. So this is a complete and utter tank.
And it's not like they're not offering it, because I literally walked by today in Walmart and saw the Great Value macaroni and cheese with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on it.
Easy.
Yeah.
So
you could have had anything.
That could have been Flash on the macaroni. Have your macaroni in a Flash. It's easy.
No.
Writes itself. But no, they got nothing. So
they have to promise something big. They have to say, this is definitely the end, and we promise you that we're going to show you where we're going. And that means they would have to reshoot something similar to Zack Snyder did, where his epilogue in the Zack Snyder Justice League, when they're like, this is what, the Nightmare would have looked like. You didn't get the whole movie, but you got the gist. You need to get the gist.
They probably can't do anything. They probably have to release this in theaters. Sherman Moa's got that kind of deal. So there's not like they can scrap it. And the last one did amazingly well, which I think surprised most people. I don't think anyone was expecting Aquaman to do that good.
Well, the hot take is the Flash movie was better than Aquaman.
It was absolutely better than Aquaman.
Yeah.
I'm honest for a shoot. I think Aquaman was nonsense.
Yeah.
It's like 2.5 hours of nonsense. Like, it's incomprehensible to me,
But Jason Momoa is a good guy, so people want.
He's a good dude, and I do like Momoa. I just thought that movie was, it was almost too much movie to look at.
This is too much.
That's my take.
Meanwhile, on the other side of Marvel is fixing some of their woes by releasing these red hot images of Deadpool with Wolverine as the thumbnail promise. They are promising that this is going to clean up the Fox universe. And Brian, you sent one picture. That one, the one that's on there, that's great. What a great picture. Smart to put that out there to let you know this is really happening, to get people excited about Marvel again. But I even got a little more excited, I got to admit. The one you sent that had the 20th Century Fox logo like upside down.
All Planet of the Apes style?
Yeah. Oh my God. That looked great. I was like, okay, I'm in. This has potential to be the movie that you go to the theaters for the fan pops. And I was talking to a friend of the show, Wayne, yesterday. When was the last fan pop that you've had in theaters? Like that you had with Endgame?
I have not had one since Endgame.
Since Endgame?
Since Captain America picking up Thor's hammer.
Yeah.
That was probably, yeah. I have nothing close to that.
That's got to be one of the biggest of all times, too, in fairness. But you kind of want more. And as what Triple H told The Undertaker, that you're always chasing the dragon. You know, you get that pop and you want to get that other pop. I'm chasing the dragon in theaters. Kind of got it with Spider-Man No Way Home, right? When Andrew Garfield showed up, that was a pretty big pop. And when Charlie Cox showed up, it had a good pop. Not that level of pop.
Yeah. I mean, those were something, yeah. But I kind of feel like that was a while ago, too.
Yeah.
I think the last one, I mean, I know a lot of people complained about it, but I really, even though I knew it was coming because it got spoiled so heavily, I loved seeing Krasinski show up as Reed Richards in Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah,
I
that was fun. That was totally fun. I liked them bringing in Patrick Stewart as Professor X, even though it was more of like a kind of multiverse joke casting, which I think we're about to get a huge plethora of in this Deadpool movie. I remember being in the theater, and people who obviously didn't know that were kind of popping for those as well, too. Yeah, I was in there, and I was one of the few that popped, and everybody else was just kind of looking at me like I was really surprised because I expected that for Krasinski for sure. I thought so.
And it was good that it was also a huge pop. But what's the opposite of a pop?
Oh,
I don't know what it is, but
well, I think in wrestling they call it the shits.
Whatever. When they
it's just dead air.
When John Krasinski shows up finally as Reed Richards, and we get that, and then they turn him into spaghetti like a minute later.
Well, I felt bad too because like I remember being in this screening, and so everyone pops for all this kind of stuff, and then they get to poor Anson Mount, and because nobody watched Inhumans,
I didn't know what was going on there. I was like, "Who is this guy?
Who's Black Bolt, and then who's this random guy with a tuning fork?" And
I also didn't get what happened until somebody explained it to me.
Yeah,
what happened to his what? So his mouth disappeared, so his head exploded. What? Thank God for YouTube to explain these things to me.
I don't know how to watch movies without YouTube explaining it afterwards.
Do you see the movie and right in the car you put on the
on the way back? Yeah, usually, especially when you're it's a little bit of a longer drive, you definitely put it on the way. So
like immediately, right?
Yeah, have to. But B-Rose, we'll have to tell you, we have a little bit of Deadpool news too that we didn't tell you. And there's only so much we can tell you, but our buddy, he's your buddy too. You worked with him before.
I can already feel where this is going too now.
Oh, wait, are you going to name names? Is that safe?
Technically, nothing has been broken. I'm just saying Deadpool's filming in London, and he's in London.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's how
Deadpool's filming in London, and he's in London, and nothing has been told to me, but I'm just saying.
Well, if he does need a sidekick, I am the closest in size comparison.
Ask him after the stream.
There may be some mentions of some stuff, so that's cool. He finally gets he's a Marvel. He's in Marvel, and I was pulling up his Buck is. Oh, I can say Buck, right? We can say Buck.
What?
A powerfully built yet contentious and simple-minded person, he often enjoyed picking fights there, only to be stood up when he was slapped. Vanessa in front of Wade Wilson. That was the gist of it. So yeah, he's gonna be in it, which is good news. Yeah. But I think this has major potential to. We're kind of going. I feel like we're about to start a little bit of a Marvel drought, And this is
a drought on everything, probably.
Yeah, it's going to be a drought on everything but Marvel. I just don't feel like people are excited about the Marvels. I am. I mean, I think it's going to be fine. I don't have the hate that a lot of people do, so I'm there for it, for sure. I want to see Monica Rambeau because we were there for WandaVision. So, but after that, I think it's going to have to be Deadpool. Everyone wants Tom Cruise to save the box office. Deadpool may save Marvel by killing the old Fox X-Men.
And just to be fair, it's not like they're starving to death. They're just not making $1 billion each time. They're still making money.
Yeah, they are.
They're not, what's I'm saying? They're not getting evicted.
That is very true. They're
just not making as much money as they used to.
They are not in the DC state where they're trying to figure out where they have to hide money and get rid of money. So they're not there. But this has potential, like we were talking about Walking Dead, to get people excited again. I just want people to be excited. You can be excited. Guess what? You can like both superhero movies and regular other movies as well. They both can coexist.
I love regular movies.
Yeah, they can both coexist and survive. Always have and always will. I mean, it's just a genre, and I know that's all the studios are putting their money into. And maybe it's okay that it settles down and they start putting money into other films, but that doesn't mean they should ever stop. And there's still a lot.
They're never going to stop because it's a genre now.
Yeah,
it's like a zombie movie. It's like a horror movie. It's just forever. Now it exists.
Yes,
it's just a genre so they'll always make superhero movies.
Exactly.
But who's going to be on top, how much money are they going to make? That's going to fluctuate. It's going to change.
Yeah,
because folks in the last 10 years have seen 50 of them.
Yeah,
5 a year for the last 10 years. That's a lot. We used to get one every 20 years.
That is true. Remember for the longest time when they like, what's your favorite superhero movie? And it was like Superman 2 until from the early 80s all the way to the year 2000 when X-Men came out. And they're like, that's the best superhero movie since Superman 2.
You only had, the choices were Superman or Batman Returns. Like, you only had two.
Yeah.
And Batman Returns is not even, barely a superhero movie. It's like just a Tim Burton movie.
Yeah.
I mean, and I got no heat with it. I love it. But it is a Tim Burton movie before a Batman movie.
Which reminds me, it was the funniest headline, and it was unintentionally funny when it said, Danny DeVito is open to returning as the Penguin. And you're like, of course you're open to returning as the Penguin.
Just putting it out there.
Yeah, just putting it out.
Since y'all are doing these multiverse joints, I'll come back as Penguin if you need me to. Do it.
Like, did anyone ever question that Danny DeVito? I mean, you see what he does on It's Always Sunny.
He's like on
great.
It's Always Sunny, and then he's in the ads in between the segments.
Yeah, exactly.
He's doing the Jersey Mike ads and acting on the show. It's old school. That's classic. That's Rick Dalton
I loved
stuff.
it. But yeah, it was just like, yeah, you are open to it. But B-Rose, I can't wait till you see The Flash. I think you're really going to enjoy it. I know you're a Tim Burton fan, and seeing Michael Keaton back as Batman is going to delight you. And don't let them detract you or deter you. Michael Keaton as Batman back is great.
Well, like, I remember, since we've had so many, Christian Bale is kind of like the Batman that I love the most.
Yeah.
But I was 7 years old when Batman came out. And I remember viscerally how much I was into Batman. And growing up dirt poor, getting anything Batman was just the greatest. And so, like, having a Batman birthday and Batman Christmas and just getting all the stuff. I mean, I remember wearing the Batman logo shirt like every day. I wouldn't take it off, kind of thing. So I've always loved the Keaton one, even since Christian Bale's come around. But yeah, I'm excited to see it just for the Keaton aspect of it.
With the score, it feels like that. Like those little sections of the movies feel like, okay, this is it. There's back, and I'm with you too, man. I was a wrestler. We didn't have money for real glasses. I had a Vicky Vale McDonald's cup that I used to just use over and over again. And it just had Bruce Wayne and Vicky Vale on there. So
Warner Brothers right now is on such a losing streak. Yeah. They're absolutely making all the wrong calls. Whoever's driving, is it Zaslav that's making the calls?
Yeah, that's good.
They're stumbling on every single thing. Literally, like it's crazy. I'm thinking about it still. Batgirl would have made more money than the Flash.
I think you're right.
Had they dropped it instead of they'd have made more money. And now they're still sitting on Aquaman. They don't know what to do. Man.
Yeah, they got to be really nervous. You think that's why
Well, they've got Barbie. And Barbie's going to kill.
Oh,
Try to get seats for Barbie. It's impossible.
Yeah, Barbie's going to blow.
But I mean, they've got that one in the bank, and I think that's going to do well for them. But
what's crazy too is how well they've done television. Their TV series have been fantastic. They just haven't been able to.
And they get good ratings. Like are they successful?
I mean, for the most part, I mean, even like Gotham ran for I think 7 seasons.
Yeah, Gotham ran for a long time.
Even Titans has been running.
Yeah.
I mean, for
Smallville is iconic, right? Smallville's been around for.
Yeah, they did 10 seasons, I think, of Smallville. Maybe not that many. But like one of my favorite television shows on period is the Harley Quinn series. It's fantastic, and it's about to start its 4th season.
Oh yeah. Yeah, everyone swears by that, and I need to go in and watch that.
It's pretty good, yeah. I saw the first season pretty much only.
I feel like that animated Harley Quinn is the closest they have to Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool, right?
It's a very Deadpool type of show. It's like having the sense of humor they use, the amount of violence they do, and everything like that. It's got that kind of Deadpool sensibility.
All right. Yeah, I need to watch that. But speaking on Deadpool, like, there's always the term that I hate is fan service, right? You are supposed to service your fans. That's why we're fans. But I really hate it.
Service us.
Yes, you are supposed to service us. And everyone's like, oh, you just put that cameo in for the fans. Where Deadpool, it looks like the entire movie is going to be nothing but cameos.
Here's what I think. They're moving this movie up a lot.
Yeah.
They really want to put this out. And I think it's a good idea because I think Marvel's got a lot of heat because everything is multiverse now. And they're sort of lost in what they're doing. We're not sure where they're going with everything.
No.
They know the end game is Secret Wars, but how they're going to get there is a little bit directionless. So now they can have Deadpool come in, and as our friends across the pond say, take the piss out of the multiverse and release that tension.
Yeah.
Like Chainsaw screaming in summer school. And just release the tension and sort of like get it off, make fun of themselves and get everybody to laugh at them and then and then like come back with something strong. They're giving themselves what would you call this in wrestling?
It's somewhat of a false start, I think.
Yeah.
Because the multiverse, having a movie called Multiverse of Madness that barely touched into any multiverse.
Yeah.
Like barely touched. Because when you hear Multiverse of Madness. You think,
directed
oh my
by
God.
Sam Raimi. You promised a lot.
There's going to be so many multiverse. Why didn't they just call it Enter the Multiverse?
Exactly.
And then there you go.
They go to one universe and the only difference is stop means go means stop.
Yes.
And pizza is in ball form. That's the only two things that are different.
Yeah, that was it was not madness at all. It was tepid, and it was a good movie. I don't even think that the movie was bad.
Yeah.
It just they set the bar just too high.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I think on this
movie gets to come in, run interference for a little bit.
It does.
And just be like, send us in a different direction. It's going to be rated R. They're going to go rated R like they've done the other ones, which is crazy. So is it going to be, it won't be a Disney movie then. It'll be like a Fox movie. 20th Century Studios, is that what it's called?
Yeah,
now?
I think that's what it's going to be.
It'll be
right?
that kind of a movie.
Well, no, they've pretty much said, with this being Marvel Studios, they're not going to, Marvel's 100% okay with it being an R-rated film.
But it won't have the Disney logo.
Yeah, it might just have the
Who
Marvel,
knows?
not the Disney.
Might,
Disney better do something, man. They better be like, you might want to do the Vince McMahon in late 90s and kind of lead into the edginess.
Yeah.
Because you need something, because Pixar, Lucasfilms, and Marvel right now both are not like the pillars that they used to be.
But I mean, like, even the other Marvel films, even the non-R-rated ones, Disney doesn't put their logo on those.
That's true.
Those are strictly Marvel Studios.
Bring back Hollywood Pictures.
Oh, I remember Hollywood.
You remember Hollywood
Pictures?
Pictures? Yeah. That was Disney wearing a mask.
Yeah. Like Buena Vista. Buena Vista was the same thing.
That was Disney doing a mask gimmick, and they would put out their edgier stuff. Bring back Hollywood Pictures. Can you tag Zaslav?
Yeah, we should do that.
They're about to need to hire people because people are on strike.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Dusty Rhodes became the Midnight Rider. Who knew? Hulk Hogan is Hulk Machine. No one knew.
Yeah, there you go.
All I know is that if Ryan Reynolds wants to service me, I'm going to 100% allow it. I'll tweet that out.
I'll allow it. Are you guys looking forward to? Are there any of the X-Men Cameo that you're looking forward to the most, or now at this point you're just like, it looks like everybody's going to be in it. Let's just go for it.
Well, I was going to say not really, but immediately I thought to myself, wait, no, Channing Tatum's Gambit is
I was
what I
going
want
to
to
say
see.
that's
the only one I see.
rumor.
But here's the thing. Can we, here's a PSA. Maybe put this as a short, dude. Can we send out a PSA to all the internet folks that love movies out there to just shut the fuck up about this movie already and just let it wait. Nobody say a thing about it again until it comes out. No more drops. Let's just not.
100% agree. They've already done. They don't even need to do any marketing for this.
They don't. Never release a trailer. Just have the poster in the theater.
Oh man, that would be brazen. But how good would that be? Yeah. How fun would that be? Where you just walk in, and just with everything we know right now, that's all we need.
Yeah,
that would be fun. As much as I love a good trailer, man.
And if it's total insanity in this movie, like a full trailer is just going to spoil too much. Whatever you do, you need a gimmick trailer. You know, well, I guess Ryan Reynolds did do those for the last one where he's explaining what's happening with action figures.
Tag him, dude.
So you can do things like that. But anyway, just stop talking about it now. We get we got Wolverine. It's revealed he's in the suit. I know that you will probably starve to death because your YouTube channel is your source of income and you probably have a family and children and all that stuff, but just stop talking about this movie. Talk about A Man Called Otto. Instead.
Here, I've got the perfect Deadpool 3 trailer for you.
All right.
We literally get 2.5 minutes, and it's just the two of them in costume, sitting on a couch, eating chicken wings, staring at the screen for 2.5 minutes, and then just Deadpool 3 pops up and the date, and that's all you need.
Oh my God. I would be there for it. I don't want to see it. I'm with Mario. I don't want to see any more. I don't let him know it's coming. Yeah, and that's still marketing, right? I mean, you're the marketing guy. You know, that's still marketing.
Yeah.
It's don't show
People
anything.
will be there, and just like one of the reasons the Flash bombed, in my opinion, is that they did that premiere at CinemaCon,
yep.
And it got over huge, and they still didn't release the movie for like 3 months after that. Had they just premiered it, had they dropped it the next week after that screening at CinemaCon,
with all that momentum,
boom,
yeah,
it would have blown up. Like I've always told you, the best ever marketing gimmick or angle that, in my opinion, was Netflix at the Super Bowl, Cloverfield 3 right after the game.
Oh, that was fantastic. I love that.
That's it. That's what one of these movies has got to exploit that someday and just be like, show the trailer and drops next week.
Yeah, how exciting. Put a little bit of urgency into going to the theater, right?
Yeah.
You're just, wait, that's coming out? I didn't even know it was coming out. Yeah, it's coming out next week. You literally have to go right now.
How hard could it be? It's not like you got to send out prints now. You just download the movie. Projectionists work hard. I'm not shooting on them, but
what if you did it where you just like you have to buy your ticket before you leave the theater? Right now, right? Just make it that. Make the trailer
phones out.
A trailer.
Scan this QR code to auto buy a ticket through Apple Pay.
The movie ends, and now the previews are now trailers again after the movies, and like now coming in 7 days, we'll see you next week. Scan this to be save your seat.
Something like that.
Yeah. Add some urgencies.
Call this segment Tag Zasloff. Because these are great ideas.
These are all. Yeah. This is. We could save the studio. Tom Cruise thinks he's going to save the studio. Maybe we're going to save the studio via YouTube Shorts.
I don't know. There's about to be no studios if everybody's going on strike. It sounds like it. All the writers were fired up on Twitter last night. They were like, "That's it. It's war." They're posting gifs from 300. This is Sparta.
I just don't know what's going to happen, other than we're going to get a lot of re-releases next year.
This is the final. This is the final battle. This is the final. This is the blow-off match.
It is.
Here's deciding the future of how people get paid for entertainment now.
Yeah.
I didn't realize this until it started. I was like, oh, this is actually way worse than thought. Yeah. We're not about a year from now, there's going to be nothing in the theater.
Well, I hope.
And Gerard Butler is going to be on like every screen, like whatever his 6 movies he does a year.
How many people do we have a list of actors that are not SAG? And are they going to be able to cross that line?
No, they're all SAG. They can no.
Right, because the movies like
If they cross the line, they'll be scabbers.
Oh,
You have to be in SAG to be an actor in Hollywood movies.
Yeah.
Can't not be.
I feel like they were rushing to get Deadpool going because of this strike, right? And they're somehow working around it where they're going to ADR his lines later so he's not able to improv. Is that what I heard somewhere?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that's... No one said that that's exactly what they're doing, but that's a theory. That since everybody's got masks, they can just ADR it later.
Which, I mean, they did in the first 2 movies as
Yeah,
well,
I'm
too.
sure
Like,
they
a
do
lot
it.
of that got ADR'd afterwards once they would throw around lines with test screenings and see which ones landed better than the other ones.
Man. Oh, that's right. You know, in the first one, remember he had that trick trailer? Because first Deadpool came out on Valentine's Day, and he had a fake romantic trailer to try to trick you to take your sweetheart to go see Deadpool. But it looked like it was going to be like a lovey-dovey Hallmark movie. And he also did one as Bob Ross, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the Bob Ross one.
They need to find a way to show a trailer without showing scenes.
But that's the thing is like, but if all the websites are revealing every single thing that happens, the trailer's irrelevant.
Yeah, I agree.
Just cut it off, guys. Just knock it off. For this one, I think we should all sign a pact, and we're not going to talk about it anymore.
Man,
By the way,
there's a lot of movies you can talk about.
the Deadpool as Bob Ross Funko, one of the highlights of my collection.
Really?
It's him with a giant paintbrush and his little fro. It's one of my favorite figures. And it's just a throwaway thing, but it worked.
Yeah, no, it worked really well. But yeah, it's going to be great. And that's going to be what kicks off summer 2024, right? They got the coveted first weekend in May slot that usually pretty much belongs to Marvel now.
Marvel's not going to have anything to release next year.
But I don't know what they're going to show after that
well, except for Deadpool, yeah. And I think they're somehow skating the rules by shooting in London.
You think that's why? Yeah, I was curious why they shot over there.
Yeah, somehow that gets them out of having to abide by union rules.
Oh man. Well, staying in the superhero vein, another casting happened. We were just talking about that. NoHo Hank, for all you Barry fans out there, is going to play Metamorpho in Superman Legacy, officially confirmed by James Gunn. And B-Rose, you said there was already some casting. I didn't know about Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner. I had no idea. I think that's great. Did you watch the animated, the Batman, the Brave and the Bold?
I've watched some of them, yeah.
One of my favorite. I mean, that's definitely probably top 5 of like animated DC projects. And that's tough because DC animation is, like you were talking about with Harley Quinn, that's a high bar already. But Batman, the Brave and the Bold was like what James Gunn did for unknown hero characters. So Batman would just team up with the 2nd, 3rd, 4th tier characters and give them their spotlight. That's how I found out who Blue Beetle was. I didn't really know who Blue Beetle was before that. That's how I found out about Guy Gardner, the 3rd Green Lantern as well. But how do you feel about that booking? We don't know. Do you know about the character? I don't think, Mario, you said you don't know who Metamorpho is.
No, I don't know who Metamorpho is either.
No.
I've never heard of Guy Gardner either.
Guy Gardner is the 3rd Earth's Green Lantern, which we are getting the Lantern Corps, so I don't know if they're going to tie that together, right? Wasn't that going to be a Max show?
Yeah, that's what they said. They were going to do a Max series based on the Green Lanterns.
I mean, wasn't J.J. Abrams supposed to do that? He's in prison or something. They put him in movie jail after Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, he is still not shook it. Well, he better move over and make room for James Mangold, which I can't believe. The internet turns on you fast. Like if you take a property and you kind of do what you did. And I don't think he was even as belligerent as like Ryan Johnson was. But people are not happy with James Mangold right now. And I feel like he was coming up with Logan. Like it was so good.
He gets a lifetime pass because of Logan.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
He's a good director. Like I said, this was an unwinnable situation.
Yeah.
And really what this whole thing was, from a directing standpoint, was they had to pay somebody good, somebody with a rep, to do a job.
Yeah.
They had to
Like do the wrestling job, the JOB job.
do the job.
Yeah.
Because whoever directs it and it's not Spielberg is doing the job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it has to be. You can't just get like Marvel does it. This aspiring indie director is not going to get Indiana Jones. It's got to be somebody huge. He just retired Wolverine a few years ago. You know what I mean? He was the one to do it. And will he be able to come back from that? Probably.
I think he will.
Yeah, because he's not going to do some other IP. He's going to do some biography, of somebody and get over and win an Oscar.
Yeah, he's not going to do any, and he needs not to. He doesn't need to do that. I mean, I feel like we haven't. Did Ang Lee ever get out of jail after people were so upset over the first Hulk?
Was Brokeback Mountain after the Hulk or before?
I believe it was after.
It was after. Okay, so he did get out.
Yeah.
So you're right. Mangold might be getting Little Gold Man. Not bad.
Yeah.
And then I think he also did. Did he do The Handmaid? I believe. After that.
Oh, did he?
No, that was Park Chan-wook.
That's Park Chan-wook. Sorry.
Yeah. So I don't know what movies. Yeah, Ang Lee did some For the Troops kind of movie.
Oh yeah, the what was that one?
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So and so's last song or something like that.
Oh yes, I do. I remember that now.
He did that, and it was he shot it on 60 frames. It was big, but no, I don't know if he has done any movies overseas or what. But
I want to rewatch that
Hulk
Hulk.
was a smash.
I want to rewatch it. I think it was okay.
He did Life of Pi in 2012.
Life
Oh,
of Pi.
Life of
That's
Pi
Oscar movie. Yeah, so.
that was good. Okay, so he survived it. James Mangold will be fine.
But then
He'll be fine.
He also did Gemini Man with Will Smith. So I mean,
What is J.J. Abrams going to come back with? I heard he's doing Hot Wheels.
Yeah, you said Hot Wheels, right?
Hot Wheels? How do you do Hot Wheels? I don't know. Maybe
animated?
he'll come up with a... No, it's a film.
Really?
Yeah.
what's crazy is he really doesn't. I mean, he's so set for life between all the residuals from Lost, and he's also an EP on all the Mission Impossibles. So he's banking regardless.
That's
so
true.
he can kind of just do whatever he wants. Just hopefully it's not something like Rise of Skywalker again.
Well, the rumor is that's why Kathleen Kennedy is able to survive as long as she has. She has some legacy because she was actually EP of the original trilogy of Indiana Jones. Like, so Star Wars, she can say she was there, but she wasn't there. But for Indiana Jones, she was in it. And a lot of people are saying, I was telling you guys before the show, that she might be fired, and they just haven't announced it yet. And they might let her kind of go gracefully, because where does she go after this? Like, as her brand, who's going to be like, okay, fine, I'm going to go spin up my own studio? Who's going to go see Kathleen Kennedy movies?
I mean, I think she'll most likely, if she does go that route, she'll make an independent studio and she'll just do her own thing, and she's not going to... I mean, the most people... I think when you look at like especially like the kind of toxic Star Wars nerds, they're not going to go see anything that she would do anyways.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I think that'll give her the freedom to kind of pick a passion project instead of something that she's kind of, I don't want to say stuck with, but when you're in that kind of legacy role, you kind of, whether you want to or not, you're going to keep doing them because you have stockholders to answer to. So
she'll get a job.
Yeah, she'll be fine.
She'll get a job.
She's not cutting coupons, but
maybe she'll. I mean, maybe a streamer will throw her a contract and be like, "Hey, you want to produce some stuff for us? We need things."
If she does anything non-IP, she should be fine. But it makes you even wonder, like, after watching the stuff she does, she can't want that job. Like, she's phoning it in. It's like she can't. Does she really want to be there? I mean, she's more passionate about like her platform of what she wants to get across. So did she look at it, well, I don't really care about the movies, but I'll get to share my beliefs via these movies and just and all it did was make people angry. And I think Indiana Jones may have been the last straw for her, which again, it was fine. I mean, I watched it. There's a lot of other stuff we can do with it. I'm really curious when you see a Geek Commander of what you think.
It's not bad by any means.
Yeah, it's not that it's bad.
And the all the dirt sheet the dirt cheap movie sites are like, it tanked, it's awful, it's crushing Disney, it's the worst thing ever, garbage. It's totally not garbage. It's a competently made, well-directed movie. You'd be hard-pressed to find somebody else to do it better. The problem is, it's a $300 million movie about an 80-year-old college professor who looks for artifacts. Now, just explain that to a young person who's supposed to go buy a ticket. A college professor, and he looks for artifacts in caves.
He looks nothing like Lara Croft.
Does he have any powers? No, he has a whip. A whip? What do you mean? What do you mean he's got a whip? Like, he's got a whip. So he hits people with a whip? No, he uses it to swing around. He like whips onto things and swings around. How does that even work? Can you explain the physics of using that whip to swing like that?
The physics of a whip.
I mean, you get it to like for its intended purpose, but how do you swing with it? It doesn't. Anyway, it's just the wrong movie at the wrong time for the wrong price. It was destined to fail.
And that's honestly, that's one of my big issues when people conflate how much a movie made with its quality. Mm-hmm. Because we have sat through going on 6 Transformer films, and I talk a lot of crap about Transformers. Those first 2.5 were fun to watch, but I don't call them great films for a reason. And they made a crap ton of money.
They did.
So there's something to say about, and we're going to talk about it later with one of our other things. Their movies can come out that can just be absolutely fantastic, but because of how much it cost and when it came out and just random, who knows why, it doesn't do very well.
Yeah.
And then everyone calls it a failure when it's a phenomenal film.
I agree. But there's definitely still, when there's smoke, there's fire, because the week 2 marketing campaign to try to get Indiana Jones to climb back up was a bunch of YouTube videos of Harrison Ford saying thank you and crying. Harrison Ford, the guy who told, Bruno to F off, the angry guy, when people ask him Star Wars questions, he's like, I don't care. And that felt disingenuous, and I just felt like they had to pay him money to do that. I'm not saying he's not a fan of his own work, but this is not a problem with the director. This is not a problem with the IP. This is a problem with a lot of things in Hollywood, that the wrong people have the right amount of money.
And it's disingenuous because the movie does not leave you with the inclination that he's going anywhere.
Yeah.
It's just like...
That was another thing, and wait till you see that. That was another thing.
It's not like you. It's like, oh, the swan song, but question mark. What? It's just like, then you come with this that it's I don't know. It was clearly an issue of like guys in suits to be like thinking to themselves, and they're like, if we end it this way, we could never make money with this again. Just cut it out.
Yeah. And then Marvel's like, we'll bring Wolverine back.
Yeah.
All I know is a lot of these executives just remind me of the lawyer in Jurassic Park, and we can have coupon day.
We can have a coupon day.
We can have coupon day. There's a lot of people. Man, what an industry! It's where it's supposed to be where dreams come true, and it breaks people, and you have a bunch of non-creatives with their foot on the neck of a lot of the creatives, and that's happens more times than not. We're to the point where sometimes it's nice to go to just a movie that doesn't have any of the internet drama that you don't realize anything around it. Like you just go see a movie that's kind of just a movie. Like I was telling Mario, I just went and saw Joyride, and it was just like I had it was like literally his last second, I think I'm just going to go see Joyride. No plan. I only saw the trailer once during The Blackening, which was basically the same event. You want to go see let's go see The Blackening. Sometimes it's fun just to go see a non-drama connected movie with all the back end and all the money, and you feel like the studios are trying to manipulate you and pander to you or talk down to you, whatever you want to call it. It just feels wrong. They take something that you love from your childhood and turn it into something different. I don't know where the hell that rank came from, but there it is.
Solid, Grant.
But let's talk about. I guess we're going to still talk about IPs because the same day that the Ahsoka trailer dropped, which was great, but I don't know if there's anything more to talk about it with it. You know, we were going to have our friend Amanda's is traveling, and Jesse also is traveling, so it's not really. And B-Rose, like you said, you'll watch it and you'll enjoy it, but it's not like you're foaming at the mouth. But the trailer for me that day that got me more excited was something I had no idea was coming, and that's what. Mario, what you're talking about, Hollywood needs to bring back the element of surprise. They need to surprise people again. Because I had no idea that a Wonka prequel was even made, much less ready to go. I just heard rumors that Timothée Chalamet was going to be in it. And I'm like, that might be cool. And then all of a sudden they got a trailer for it. Did you guys like that trailer?
I did. I mean, I've been tracking this for a while. Ever since they first made the casting announcement, like a year and a half ago or so, I was like, I don't know if it's a movie that I need, but I thought the casting itself and the concept was at least unique enough to kind of. I was kind of like, we'll see how it is when it gets here. I actually dig the trailer. I'm not 100% sold on it.
Yeah.
But I think compared to what we had last time with Johnny Depp, it's a step in the right direction. I was talking to someone about this, and, you know, when they did the Depp version, with Burton, that movie is a very Tim Burton movie.
Yeah.
And in terms of the Wonka, it's very, it's a little goofy and oddball, which is exactly what Tim Burton is. This one, it's more whimsical, and I've always kind of explained whimsical as like silly with a sense of hope. And that's kind of what the vibe that I'm getting from this. It looks like it's going to have some silly moments, but it's almost kind of like Paddington. It's got that kind of like sweetness underneath it, pun intended. So I'm not like, again, I'm not foaming at the mouth for it, but I saw enough in the trailer that I liked that I'm still going to go see it regardless because I like Timothée Chalamet, and also B, I'm a fan of the original film, so I'm on board to go take a look and give it a chance.
This is another golden opportunity to take Mario's advice and say, that's it. That's all you get. We'll see you on the day it comes out. Because how fun would that be? You could like walk in and not know not know what's going on. Because I think it's great casting. We don't have to suffer through a deep fake. We don't have to suffer through a de-aging. We got somebody that's kind of has a quirky enough look where he can feel like he's a young Gene Wilder, which I'm assuming is a young Gene Wilder and not a young Johnny Depp, right? But even though he can probably fall in the middle.
Am I the only one who thinks this is terrible casting?
You don't like it?
No, I think this is awful casting.
I didn't know. No.
Timothée Chalamet is not a comedic actor. Gene Wilder was a comedic actor. I don't get. That's why Johnny Depp didn't work either. He's also not a comedic actor. Well, I guess he is a comedic actor.
Well, not on purpose.
Yeah. No, because I guess Curse of the Black Pearl, right? He's comedic.
Oh, yeah.
But Timothée Chalamet is not comedic at all. I don't understand why you would book him.
I'll disagree with you on there because of Saturday Night Live. He
was good in Saturday Night Live?
He was so good,
really
and he's got one of the most iconic, like, viral-worthy sketches with him and Pete Davidson called Yeet Skirt, basically.
Yeah, Yeet Skirt, Yeet Skirt.
He has shown a willingness to do whatever is asked of him, whether it's goofy or silly or making fun of himself. So I think he's got it in him to pull it off. Because also, like, with Gene Wilder, they cast him at that, but he was great at the drama as well too.
Well, that's the thing. Gene Wilder his Willy Wonka had an edge.
Mm-hmm.
He was scary.
There was a lot of dark,
and I don't see that from Timothée Chalamet either. But maybe that's just me. So
I see what you're saying.
I don't know.
Okay.
Here it is, and maybe I'm definitely not the target audience, because for me, I think when Willy Wonka, maybe this is what they were going for with Burton. I don't know. I feel like the stuff that's memorable to me is the psychedelic, weird stuff. It is kind of a weird premise. All these kids are horribly murdered in a candy factory. Right?
Well, Tim Burton's, they weren't right. They leaned into. I think that was a big.
I didn't like that one. I only saw that once. I don't remember what happened.
Yeah, and I think they showed. See, no, the kids are fine. They're just really stretched and deformed.
Yeah, I know. In the original, they were murdered.
Yeah, they were. It was a different time, but man,
Yeah.
that still works. Man, that still works.
So I don't know. Like I the trailer was fine. Doesn't really grab me. I don't see that being a lot of fun for me. I don't know. Could be an interesting family movie, I suppose. But I do like Hugh Grant doing his silly gimmicks these days. He's picking some good roles. But that trailer did nothing for me, honestly. I'm just like,
okay.
I have no interest in that.
So it was interesting that they chose one line in the trailer
Chalamet.
that was yeah. There's a darkness. There's a darkness behind that.
I mean, I could see he does have a Gene Wilder look.
He could sell me some chocolate.
And I could see maybe doing dark, but from that trailer, it didn't look like they were going dark. I wouldn't say what's up to Anthony. Anthony's been on for a while.
Anthony, what's up?
What's unfortunate, Anthony?
Oh, when you were talking, I think that was when I was ranting.
Oh. Anyway, so Chalamet, is he the top guy in Hollywood right now?
Well, he has this in Dune too. I mean, that's a pretty.
But he gets cast in Oscar movies and stuff. You know.
Yeah,
he's in everything.
And here's the thing that I don't like, and you guys disagreeing with me, and that's totally fine. I dislike when an actor says, "I didn't even take the time to watch the performance of the person who came before me and did this. I want to do my own interpretation." I think that's really, really risky. And if this kid does not go back and watch what Gene Wilder did, it's going to be really risky because you don't want it to be that different. Because I think then you get Johnny Depp's Willy Wonka because they don't want to do just an impersonation of somebody. But if you're supposed to be the younger version of that character, you kind of need to do that, don't you?
A little bit of it.
A little bit, right?
A little bit. And I think he doesn't need to be a Gene Wilder impersonation. I just think one of the things that makes that role so iconic, or that movie so iconic, is that Willy Wonka, he could be a heel the whole time. You're not sure. Up until the very, very end of the movie, are you sure he's not a heel?
Well, I think it's interesting too because in the original one, you see, because that movie is so dark, which a lot of people didn't realize was going to be the case when they went to see it. But I think you're seeing Wonka at the end, and part of the movie deals with just how burnt out he is and cynical about a lot of things, and he's looking for that hope. And I kind of see this as them showing him before all of that. So you're seeing that kind of hope-filled, whimsical version of Wonka before all of the corporate and all that kind of nonsense that wore over him over the years. So, I mean, I'd like to see them, maybe bring in some of the feeling, but I'm perfectly fine with them not leaning in too heavily into the Gene Wilder to kind of show the difference. And kind of to me, that makes the Wonka character in the original a little more authentic because you see
he was beat up. He
was worn down, and he was looking for that hope that maybe he had when he first started.
Yeah. No, I can get behind that. As long as he just keeps that quirkiness. That's something that, I mean, that we're talking about a movie that it didn't do well in theaters, but I mean, it was also 1973, and the number one movie that year was The Exorcist. But in the Wonka, the spirit of what you guys are talking about right now, that spirit of this, like, he's a little bit dark, but he's a little bit funny, translated so well to this internet age, right? Because of course we know the Wonka meme. I mean, Wonka has its own meme that I feel like is timeless. When people 20 years from now, when they're talking about memes, they're going to talk about the Wonka meme, right? Because his face just meant so much. And there's also just like, I don't know if it's a subreddit or what, but the whole Grandpa Joe is a POS.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. It's so good. It's
What's
like,
this? Why is Grandpa Joe a POS?
Because he was just laying in bed like a lazy lump of crap, and then all of a sudden his grandson might be the heir fortune to a $1 billion chocolate factory, and all of a sudden he's up to his feet and let's go.
I never thought of that.
That's what I mean, and it started a whole conversation.
It's a deep rabbit hole you can go down.
It's a very deep rabbit hole that Grandpa Joe is a POS.
And he's also the one that, in a way, quote, quote, corrupts Charlie by making him take the fizzy drink.
The fizzy lifting drink was
he's
him.
one, no, we'll do it because Charlie's
one
like,
little
oh, we shouldn't do that, and he's
Yeah,
the
one
that-
little sip.
Yeah,
And then do yourself a favor while you're on YouTube. One of the best. Well, I shouldn't say it's one of the best, but it's so good. The Willy Wonka alternate ending when right before he tells Charlie you lose, and then he changes his mind, and then he calls him back, and then he's like, you lose, you still lose. It worked so well. But the point being is just like that weird, dark, edgy stuff attracted people for the next how many years? 10, 20 years? I mean, people didn't watch this movie in theaters because they didn't know what to do with it. But how many generations later it continued to watch it? And it's just survived it. And that spirit is just alive in there. And it's because it's a little dark. It's a little, it's the stuff that it's dark and we're not sure we should be laughing. And in 2023, people need to be laughing more. Just my 2 cents, but I'll go check it out. I'll give them a swing for sure because I'm a fan of the brand. I remember falling asleep in the Tim Burton version, but I think I went back and watched it later because there's a group of individuals out there that say that they prefer that version over the Gene Wilder version, which I think they're lunatics.
they're called crackheads.
Let me put this out into the universe. Maybe somebody can do this. When is L. Frank Baum public domain? We need Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory done in like the version of how they recently did the Banana Splits as a horror movie.
Oh.
They did Winnie the Pooh
Winnie the Pooh
as a horror movie. They did Fantasy Island as a horror movie. We need Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory or Charlie and the Chocolate Factory as a horror.
Almost like a Hansel and Gretel, like luring the children with chocolates.
Because the kids die in there.
They definitely die.
They definitely die.
Yeah, Augustus couldn't breathe. There's no way he can
You
breathe.
can't breathe chocolate, Jeff.
He's dead.
But what a way to go, man.
It is the world's finest chocolate.
There's something about that. You know, it felt like Disney had a very air back then, and that this wasn't Disney, but it felt like Disney, right? This felt like something along the lines of like the computer wears tennis shoes and bed knobs and broomsticks
and chitty chitty bang bang.
chitty chitty bang bang, right? Didn't it have that vibe where it's just like you feel like everybody might have a British accent?
A little bit, but I mean, I think it has, like you said, it's got that edge that differentiates it from
Yeah.
Disney. That weirdness.
Yeah.
The sort of like the sense of anything could go wrong at any moment, you know?
Yeah. Oh, and it did feel like, and like you said, he could go dark. I mean, the tunnel scene was when he showed how dark he can get.
Yeah.
Oh man, there's a pretty good documentary out there on the making of and
Surely.
on that, yeah, on YouTube. But let's talk about his other trailer, Dune 2. What are you guys excited about that?
I'm 100%. I mean, I loved what they did with the first Dune. I thought the trailer was so good. I watched it like 4 or 5 times, like just in a row. I kept watching.
I
it
remember
'cause
you
wanted
saying
to-
you were pretty psyched about it.
I think it looks fantastic. I mean, for it being a part 2, I think it's going to be. I'm excited. I'm really excited to see what happens with it because I mean, we all kind of know the story, but even the first movie, visually alone, is just outstanding. So I'm really excited to see what he does with part 2, and just kind of seeing how it plays out in this new version.
Mari, did you like the original Dune?
The Kyle MacLachlan one?
Yeah.
No, the Kyle MacLachlan one, no.
No.
It's not very good, to tell the truth.
Yeah.
It's got its novelty because it's David Lynch and it's weird.
It's
and
very
if
weird.
You're into consumables and you watch it, you know, and you play Dark Side of the Moon backwards, it all makes sense. But like, it's got that element to it. It's got style. I like a lot of the look of it. But you try to watch it, it's just not good.
It's a bit of a slog.
Yeah. But looks cool. Denis Villeneuve's, am I saying that right? Anyway, his last Dune I thought was really good. You know? Again, I'll never be satisfied until I get Jodorowsky's Dune. That's the one I want. Jeff, you haven't seen that documentary yet, right?
Oh, it's a
No.
great one.
Dude, if you want to
you told
borrow
me
it,
about it.
I got the disc, or we can throw it out in the screening room immediately after the show. It's all about him trying to create Dune in the 70s, before Star Wars. After 2001 and The Four Stovers had this idea, huge space epic, do Dune. He brought in all the big hitters. Dan O'Bannon, Geiger, Pink Floyd.
Man.
All these people. Orson Welles. Like, he booked it to the nines. And nobody wanted to make it. And then it just went into obscurity. And then all the little pieces of Dune that he came up with went on to other movies.
Damn. Yeah, that sounds great.
It's wild. You should check it out.
I do. This was the first Dune for whatever reason. This was during lockdown, right? Because I don't remember seeing it in theaters. I remember seeing it on this a day and date release, or
This was a day and date, yeah.
it was? Okay.
Yeah.
It was one of the big ones too. It was one of the ones they announced when they announced that they were going to be doing like the whole releases on Max. This was one of the ones they announced, like, we're going to be doing this one as the kind of, not really the test, but the big feature that's going to be out day and date.
And I feel like the director was fighting back that he wanted it just to go into theaters directly first, right?
They should have just held him in the end.
That's the question, right? That's what I was going to say. It's possible that this could have waited because
Tom
it's not
Cruise fought and fought for them not to release Top Gun Maverick. Don't do it. He's got pull.
Wow.
And he was right.
You're right. I completely forgot that he fought, and that sat on the shelf.
That sat on the shelf for
They held it
years.
for 2 years, yeah.
Yeah, ice cold. And then, like, if they'd have held these movies and been putting them out later,
But they also needed something
lost.
other than Snyder to really help launch Max as well too, or HBO Max at the time.
Yeah.
With that to really kind of push people into that, because the movie itself is just so visually stunning. Like, it needs to be seen on a big screen.
I think that's what happened to me. I mean, I feel like I didn't get the theatrical experience with it, so it's not.
I remember
I
remember the day and date releases. It was a whole era. I remember going to see Suicide Squad at the theater, and immediately I came home and it's on TV immediately after.
It was very strange.
I used to love waking up early back when we were all working from the house. So waking up early, the day and date release, whatever, it's 8 a.m. and I just put on whatever that day and date release was and just let it loop all day.
Yeah.
Just let it loop all day.
That was a long night for the Zack Snyder one.
Oh,
That
man.
was like 4
hours, yeah.
That was an awesome drop, though, because I think did we do the show that night? I feel for some reason I just remember being up really late, had to stay up for that to watch that one.
What a great experience!
Because I can't not watch this immediately, and it was so awesome.
Yeah,
it was so. I think it was up till 6 a.m. that day.
I mean, those are the movies that got that. We had Dune, the Zack Snyder Justice League, Godzilla versus Kong, Mortal Kombat, The Matrix Revolutions, and those are
the smaller ones in there. You had like the Halloween movies.
Yeah, that all kind of went in there. But I feel like they would have probably been better off holding it, because I'm really curious how the second one's going to go with a theatrical feel.
I think it'll do good. If people are back at the movies now, they want to go.
Yeah,
Chalamet's everywhere. People want to see this guy.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to just seeing it in theaters with the captive audience, no distractions, no dogs, no cats, no phones. Just watching the movies, because if you're home and the couch is really comfortable, this movie could be really soothing. It is really, really soothing. So, but I am looking forward to seeing it. Cool. You guys want to take a quick break here, and then we'll come back and talk about the Tom Cruise, not to be confused with Tom Cruise.
Actually, I have one more thing for you, and I forgot to even talk to you ahead of time about this. So we talked about it briefly on one of the previous shows I was on, but news broke, I think yesterday or the day before. They were doing an interview, and one of the other richest people alive is going to be in Austin. So Jim Cameron is going to be here in Austin because he's just sold his property. There's an article in Forbes. He sold his property with his wife because he's going to be splitting his time between London and Austin. London for Avatar, and then for Austin for more Alita films.
What?
So he and Rodriguez are working on. It's been published, so if he goes back on it now, it's furor.
Wow.
But he said films plural. So
Wow.
it looks like they may be trying to at least film 2 sequels, maybe back to back, here in Austin.
Maybe I can get booked this time. I still need to go back and watch it. Maybe I'll lift the embargo. You guys liked it?
I love it.
You liked it?
That was one of my favorite films, surprisingly, because I had no experience with the material or anything like that, but I really enjoyed it.
I thought all the Alita stuff worked. Anything that is not a special effect didn't work.
Yeah.
Anything that was not a special effect did not work in that movie. So I think if they book a new writer on that one, they give Rodriguez a writer. Book Quentin.
Oh man,
come on! Just get somebody in there to write the script and let him direct, and I think you're great. But
Well, you already had Christoph Waltz in the first film, so it's a nice little thread.
Yeah, that is a little nudge.
I mean, they
there.
teased Ed Norton at the end. There's stuff to
Yeah.
do, stuff left to do. It just needed. Yeah, I think just the script was not all the way there.
So he only worked on because I know it was a James Cameron idea, but was it a story? Did he get a story by, or did he already have a script that he worked on, or was there was a completely different writer?
Let's see who wrote the script.
Yes, I don't remember 100%, to be quite honest.
Because doesn't James Cameron, he writes, I mean, all the Avatar stuff, he wrote all of those too, right? Well, I'm sure he has partners.
I think he's got the story, like a story credit for those. I'm not sure if he actually wrote them,
Interesting.
but I could be wrong on that as well too.
It says written by Cameron and someone else. I can't pronounce this name.
All right, I'll lift the embargo. I'm sure I can find it streaming somewhere. And maybe we can get him to come on the show, and maybe he can talk about why they didn't book me.
Jeff, so what part were you going for?
I don't remember. I didn't make it that far. I just remember I had a really bad experience with wardrobe, and then that was it. And then it never came back.
That wasn't the one they said you were too big to be on the.
No, that was the zombies.
You said you were too big for a zombie.
Yeah, and that's why I stopped.
Which it makes
watching
sense.
Fear. Yeah.
Which makes sense.
I mean, yeah. Maybe I could have been. I just freshly made zombie. That went to the Chicken Express right next to Round Rock, the Del
Well, I
Diamond.
mean, it's like you're like a physically fit guy too. Nobody wants a physically fit zombie. You got to be either extremely skinny, or super fat.
I volunteer as tribute for the fat zombie.
They'll throw me and Brian in a well, but
I need to stop holding movie grudges for not booking me, and so I don't miss out on any experiences. But that's cool. That's good news. I had no idea. So that's
good for Robert. After that last movie that he just put out, nobody cared.
Yeah.
Man, with Ben Affleck.
I'm still curious. What is this Ketchup Productions that put out the movie, or Ketchup release? It was put out by Ketchup Films.
Well, because Troublemaker's not a studio anymore, right? Because I thought they were done.
I don't know. I think most of that he lost it in the divorce.
Yeah, that's what I. So maybe it's just like, I don't know, Ketchup, but it's still us. So we'll see. Cool, good news. All right, we will BRB.
Today, the United States is engaged in a gigantic effort to send men to the moon. For this effort, Pillsbury has developed many special foods. Here is the first one to be made available to the public: Space Food Sticks. To meet the demands of a long space flight, Space Food Sticks had to be a compact, nutritious, high-energy food. That's why they make the perfect between-meal energy snack. Energy for hard play. Energy for hard work. Lasting energy to feel alive. If that sounds better than some of the things your family fills up on between meals, you should try Space Food Sticks for good nutrition and lasting energy in a chewy, tasty snack food. Chocolate, caramel, and peanut butter. About 44 calories. At your grocer's next to the instant breakfast section. Space Food Sticks, the energy snack from U.S. Aerospace Research and Pillsbury.
It's landed. Ideal's new Astrobase has just landed. Look, the space lock is opening. And here comes the astronaut. He's being lowered from the Astrobase into the remote-controlled scout car. The two space probes are being mounted for launching. The car is scanning the area. And there go the space probes. They're calling them back to the Astrobase. Mission accomplished. Ideal's Astrobase and Colonel Macaulay's space helmet are the greatest way to play outer space. You can scan the skies, launch deep space probes, fire rockets, destroy stray meteorites. Ideal's Astrobase is at your favorite toy store. Get your Ideal Astrobase today.
Eldon's new Billy Blastoff. Now he walks. That's Billy's jet.
The jetpack on Billy's back powers his lunar crawler, runs the space mobile, drives the moon tractor, and makes Billy Blastoff walk. Eldon's Billy Blastoff Space Scout comes with 8 pieces.
There's 8 pieces.
Billy Blastoff. Now, he walks.
Now, for every kid who has ever seen a science fiction movie, thrilled to the amazing strength of an out-of-this-world movie monster, comes Great Garloo by Marx. Garloo the Mighty. Garloo the Untamed. Garloo the Terrible. Who can stop him? Who can control this monstrous creature? You can, kids, because Great Garloo by Marx is yours to command. With these battery-operated controls, you can make Garloo go, stop, bend, pick up, turn. Yes, Great Garloo, almost 2 feet tall, will be your faithful servant. You name it, you're the boss. Bring out-of-this-world excitement into your house, kids. Own the most fantastic toy of all. Great Garloo by Marx.
M-A-R-X spells Marx, world's largest toy maker.
Ideal's Robot Commando is here to help you. He's your one-man army. No enemy can destroy him. He fights off tanks, hurls missiles one after another. Even a squadron of planes can't stop him. Robot Commando fires his secret weapon. He takes orders from no one except you.
Forward!
Ideal's Robot Commando is battery operated to obey your command. Adjust the control, speak into the microphone.
Left! Fire!
Ideal's Robot Commando is here to help you. Look for your Robot Commando. He's looking for you.
The Zeroids are here. From the planet Zero, the Zeroids. Zirak, the Zeroid commander, frees himself from his own Zeroid capsule. Advance! Zobor, the Zeroid transporter. Change his Zeroid capsule into a Cosmobile for hauling. Zintar, the Zeroid explorer, change his Zeroid capsule into a lunar sled. Command the Zeroids to defend. Move forward, backward, and transport. Command the Zeroids from Ideal.
And have one.
For the win, man.
We're coming back.
All right.
Sorry, I know that was a bit abrupt.
Oh, all good. HEB for the win. HEB always comes through for us when it comes to weird beers, snack time. So this is going to be a snack time, limited edition snack time. That's also the liquid edition. So B Rose as the guest and the person who actually brought it in. I'm going to let you intro this.
So yeah, this is the Sprite Lemonade Legacy, lemonade spelled with L-Y-M, celebrating 50 years of hip hop. It's lemon lime, strawberry, and lemonade flavored soda.
That's perfect. You know what I wish we had? Wrap snacks.
I thought about trying to bring some in too. Well, it's funny because like my wife loves anything strawberry, and so she heard about this, and since it's like a strawberry flavored, she was like, "That might be pretty good. Can you find this for me?" And I was like, "Sure." And then looking online, I'm like, "Oh no, I can't because nobody has it." And so I had to go on a little deep dive and finally track down some at an HEB, and it said they had it in stock, and I drove over there after work, and literally they only had four 12-packs left, so I bought all 4 of them.
That's amazing. You brought these for us to drink. That's great.
Yes, thank you.
Just in case she liked them, I bought them, and she loves them, but I told her, I was like, I'm going to bring 3 of these for the show.
Hold your can up by your head there. You've got the closest shot there, B Rose.
Oh, mine?
Yeah. Right next to so we can see that the soda. Yeah. There you go. Sprite Lemonade Legacy.
So as you said, it's lemon, lime, and strawberry?
Yeah.
All right.
All right, I need this right now.
Let's get it a
There's
pop.
no bigger sin of joy than popping a sugar soda.
And while I'm not the biggest fan of lemonade or strawberry, it hits the spot,
right.
It
actually.
smells really good.
Yeah.
Oh,
It smells like pixie sticks.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's good. That's like an icy. This is perfect for 105 in Texas.
Wow. Yeah, that's great. The Sprite is good for you, right?
Yeah, it's the healthy
Sure.
soda.
It's mostly, it's just fruits.
It's clear. There's no coloring.
Mm-hmm.
It's just lemons and limes. Have you ever heard that Mitch Hedberg
Mitch
bit?
Hedberg, yeah. You want to try some of my homemade Sprite?
It's lemons and limes.
Not you figure what the fuck else is in it.
You know, a lot of sodas like this, you're seeing these flavor mashups. It was one of the greatest inventions of the new century has been those freestyle machines. When you add a little bit of syrup to some of your favorite sodas, you ever wonder what an orange Sprite would taste like? That's what this reminds me of. They just branded it, canned it, and shared it with us.
This reminds me of, there was a strawberry Sprite out for a while, a long time ago.
Was it
You remember
really?
strawberry Sprite? I feel like they had it for 1 year.
This is like carbonated Starbursts.
It's very good.
Surprisingly, and I don't know
Do
why the
recommend.
flavoring works for it, but to me, it reminds me a lot of Surge.
Oh, I love
I got some
Surge.
strong Surge vibes when I started drinking this. And I was just like, okay, I'm down for that.
I don't even know what flavor Surge was, but I liked it.
I don't think anybody knows what flavor Surge was.
It was yellow.
Yeah.
It was yellow flavored.
Yeah.
What's funny is I used to, back in high school, to give myself that little boost for after school, I would literally get a Surge and mix it with Dr. Pepper. And for some reason, it just hit really well.
That does sound good.
What came first, Surge or Jolt?
I believe Surge came out first. And then they were worried it gave you cancer or something like that, and they got rid of it. And then they brought it back. Because when they brought it back like 5 years ago, I 100% ordered a case of it.
And they just wiped them out.
Yeah.
But now it's just back then. That's when energy drinks weren't really a thing. So that was like a special. An energy drink back then was Mountain Dew.
Yeah, like a soda with a lot of caffeine. and
Yeah,
sugar.
exactly. Where now it's probably like, no, it's not strong enough.
Yeah.
Which I'm curious how much caffeine and or sugar were in Jolt and Surge back then.
I don't know.
Had to be quite the jolt.
That was also pre-Starbucks. People have been acclimated to caffeine.
Yeah.
That is true.
It's in our bloodline.
It is. All right. Well, B-Rose, I forgot to tell you before we jump off of that, my Gene Wilder story was got VCR repaired. Telstar Services, thank you. Told Marty the other day, I'm going to go to Half Price Books. I'm going to just scour through their tapes. Now that I got it, let me go find some good ones. So I was like, but I want them to like really jump out at me. So I found Goonies in a Clamshell, Superman 2, and then I looked and I was like, Silver Streak. It's like Silver Streak, and we were just talking about that a few shows ago. Richard Pryor, Gene Wilder, the combo together, and it was great. And it was the first one I wanted to test when I got home because I was like, I can't believe I found Silver Streak. And I opened it up, and there's like a homemade sticker on there. And I thought I was about to get ringed. I thought I was going to be like, I watched this 7 days, I die. But I died immediately because it was just some 50-year-old dude piano recital. And I went back, and I was like, hey, I just bought this. He's like, yeah, I remember you bought all those tapes. I was like, yeah, one of these is not Silver Streak. He goes, oh, no, that's definitely not. And I heard him say, just scan that into the garbage. I was like, you're not going to go try to get your 35 cents back that you probably sold them to it for? Like, no, he scammed us out of 30 cents.
So did you get your money back, or did you pick another tape?
They let me pick a tape of equal value, and I was just panicked. I couldn't go through, and I just grabbed the nearest one, and it was $1 over, and it was The Crow with Brandon Lee. And then
Solid choice.
And he's like, you know what? We'll just call it even. You don't worry about paying us an extra $1. You came all the way back.
You want a nice Gene Wilder hot take?
Yeah.
the Gene Wilder, I won't say performance, but the movie that I like more than Silver Streak and even more than Wonka is one of the other films he did with Richard Pryor, See No Evil, Hear No Evil.
Oh, yeah. That was great.
I love that movie. I
So
remember
good.
watching that with my grandfather and just loving the hell out of that movie.
Yeah, 100%, man. I agree. Like, I think it's not underrated, but I don't think people don't hold it in the same class as their first few movies.
Yeah.
That's great. The scene where they're arguing with each other and they can't see it or hear each other is the funniest thing ever filmed by humans.
I love that scene.
I remember.
It's like, who's on first?
I remember, because that was a rated R movie back in the day. So, like, I remember going to the theater and I saw something else. And back when we used to theater hop, remember theater hopping, guys?
Yeah.
I remember going into the theater to see No Evil, Hear No Evil in progress. And it was that scene where they're arguing. And I just, like, I died. I died there on the floor. And that was the only scene I got to watch. And I couldn't wait for it to hit something.
Just thinking of it
So I
makes
could
me
get it.
laugh.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Hit tape, hit cable, anything.
Theater hopping, man. Just going on that, too. The other day, I took him, we went, so I had to show him Theater 1 XD. And that's when we ended up seeing Mission Impossible. But we just strolled in, and I'm like, man, it used to be literally Mission Impossible. How were we going to sneak in to see all these movies? I think it was 3 in a row. I think that was my record of just staying there and hopping and seeing 3 movies. But like, there's no crime anymore. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
Like, they pretty much scan. They're not giving you a stub anyway. They scan you way at the door of your phone. It's like Theater 1, you find your own way. I'm like, we can literally walk into any movie here we want, and no one's ever stopping us after the movie. What's going to stop you from opening up that app, looking what seats are empty, and just go sit in another movie? Who's going to stop you? But back then, who was going to stop you? High teenagers.
Yeah.
They were going to stop you. Like, they were carding you. They were not letting you into rated R movies. They were stopping you. No one's stopping anyone anymore.
I remember going to see the first Deadpool and a mom walking in with her 5-year-old kids to see Deadpool. And my wife and I were there, and we even listened to the little young woman working at the box office. She's like, I don't think you should let them see this. And she was like, I don't care, and just took them in. It was like, someone cares about their job. They're actually like looking out for the customer.
Which is what you're supposed to do, right?
Yeah.
You should do that. We saw all the warnings on the Joker. When we saw Joker, like, remember, this is not really a comic book movie. They had to put the signs up. They're like, we're not going to have our employees endanger themselves by sharing an opinion that maybe you shouldn't be doing this. So we'll just put signs up. They can't hurt the signs. Oh, man. I don't know how we got on that, but let's stick on while we're talking about Theater 1. We all partaked in Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. I had a confession earlier last week that I have not seen a Mission Impossible since Mission Impossible 3. So I just thought I'd jump right in, and this movie was a blast. It was great. It did hit me on the way here. Somebody was commenting, Mario had a nice Mission Impossible Mario machete cut. And somebody was like, I haven't seen one of these. And I didn't realize that it's kind of like Fast and the Furious, but Tom Cruise is the classic car. But you're okay with it.
Well, also, I watched that video actually too, and I was like, I don't think I agree with Mario.
Oh, no?
And so I was thinking about it too, and because for me, it also, it's crazy how so many different things come back to Fast and the Furious. But the Mission Impossible films kind of almost follow a little bit of the trajectory, because like, I really do. I like the Mission Impossible, the original Mission Impossible movie. I think Brian De Palma did a great job with it.
Yep.
I do not like Mission Impossible 2.
The John Woo.
I don't like it. I don't even really like Tom Cruise in it. It doesn't feel like a Mission Impossible film to me, even though I know it is. But what I did like was I really enjoyed Mission Impossible 3 and what J.J. Abrams brought to it. And kind of like Fast and the Furious, I think that Mission Impossible 3 is kind of like Fast 4. Right before you
the transitional one.
It's a transitional one. It kind of brings it into a little more, I don't want to say serious tone, but it gives some more gravitas to it. And just like Fast 4, you set up what's arguably the best film in the series, which is for Fast and Furious, it's Fast 5.
Yeah.
But
Fast
for this
5
one,
for sure.
I love like the triple combo of Ghost Protocol, Rogue Nation, and Fallout is just outstanding to watch. And I don't think we get Ghost Protocol without Mission Impossible 3 being as good as it was. But I think a lot of things too. I think one of the best additions of the whole series is adding Simon Pegg, and you don't get that without J.J. Abrams. And so I think he did a lot to set up what the future of the franchise was going to be. And then Brad Bird knocked it out of the park, and then Christopher McQuarrie has just kind of taken the baton and run with it. And it's just been kind of fun. It's been nice to watch. I'm hoping that they don't follow the Fast and the Furious in terms of these next few movies just being ridiculous.
Like way out there.
Yeah, I don't need to. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I wouldn't mind seeing Tom Cruise having to go to space, but it seems like it would fit for this series, not for a car racing series.
It's an interesting trajectory because I think early the Mission Impossibles, the first few, I think what they were trying to do, like auteur director does each one. That was sort of the gimmick, and I think they went from Brian De Palma to John Woo, and it was like, oh wait, this is kind of weird. This doesn't necessarily work. Because I think everybody had any reason to dislike Mission Impossible 2. I get it. I understand. It doesn't appeal to everybody. But I'm just saying, there was a bunch of us wearing Jinko jeans and listening to Limp Bizkit, and that was awesome. That was our movie. And that and you could take take all the titles off of Mission Impossible 2 and just retitle it something else,
And see, I think it works better as a non-Mission Impossible
Absolutely.
film. I think as a Tom Cruise action movie, it's great. I just don't think it works for me as an actual Mission Impossible. It feels so out of place, especially if you watch all 6 of them, it feels just so out of place.
100% agree, but I still love it.
Plus, I think we have to give credit where credit's due. We see Tom Cruise run a lot, but that tracking shot of him running in 3 kind of sets the bar, and then they have to have it in every film now.
Yeah. 3 is the one I'll rewatch the least because, like I said, it is the transitional one. And to me, I think Philip Seymour Hoffman is great in that one. But that one just felt the smallest to me. It felt like the TV episode one.
You think that was a conscious choice after going swinging big for John Woo to bring it back to ground?
Well, Abrams had just done Alias. He had the biggest spy show on TV, so he was a natural pick.
Yeah.
But the downside is it felt like a TV show to me, that one. And they just don't revisit it. So that's why I think Ghost Protocol is when it finally became what it is. And even now, it's morphed. You should go back and watch Ghost Protocol, Jeff, because I think that one's probably my favorite.
Yeah, it's kind of a coin toss between Ghost Protocol and I can't believe I just blanked on it now.
Rogue Nation or Fall?
Yeah.
Because I love both of them, but they do. I think Brad Bird, he catches a lot of crap for John Carter. Or not John Carter, whatever it was. I forgot what it was.
Wasn't it John Carter?
I think John Carter was Andrew Stanton, I believe.
Oh, yep, it was.
But he catches Tomorrowland. He did Tomorrowland. And he caught crap for that. But I think that Ghost Protocol is just a masterclass in terms of like Mission Impossible with what you can do in the pacing. That whole film is just fantastic.
Yeah, it did, and I did remember watching later on in reruns, watching some of the series. And what I did like is this one, the intensity, it matched it. Even though it was on a way bigger scale, it was a theatrical intensity, but the intensity was there the entire time.
Well, it's also a nice thread too because McQuarrie he worked on 4. He was the writer. He wrote Ghost Protocol. And so it was kind of a natural progression for him to kind of move into the director's seat. Cruise felt comfortable with him because he had worked. He wrote the script for that one, And so I think it's been a nice little thread of these last 4 being so connected. Is you have someone like him.
This is what The Rock needs. He needs to find a buddy like Chris McQuarrie to work with, and write stuff for him. Understands how to use him. They can collaborate, work together. This is why I mean, The Rock is always, he's the biggest star in the world, sure. But I don't think he's made very many classic films. Like,
what's sad is he actually has that. He has that director. He just doesn't work with him enough because he's got Peter Berg.
Oh, yeah.
And Peter Berg gave him Ballers and gave him The Rundown.
Yes.
Which are 2 really good uses of his specific talents.
And also Michael Bay. Michael Bay got him.
Yeah.
Why hasn't he not done a Michael Bay movie since? Well, I guess he wasn't there one on Netflix one? Those don't count.
No.
Those don't really count as movies. They don't even exist. If it's not on a disc, it never happened.
He's going to have to do some. Well, I shouldn't say that. He doesn't have to do anything because his tequila is like the #1 selling tequila of all time.
Anyway, but Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
7. You liked it, Jeff.
I loved it. I thought I really liked the casting. All the actors couldn't take your eyes off them. Like,
should we throw up spoiler tags?
Oh yeah,
I know we're probably going to get into spoilers here.
Yeah, let's do it.
This going forward has spoilers in it for Mission Impossible 3.
Yes,
if you haven't seen it.
But we got talking about it last week with Esai Morales. I was happy to kind of see him in there, but I didn't realize how much I was going to like Grace Haley Atwell. But it was like RJ said, you know what I would have done? Yeah, I would have shot her. Why does she keep running? I'm trying to help you. Because that's really risky territory. Again, talking about like Fear of the Walking Dead, I was rooting for the zombies. When you have these actors that, these performances that don't work, but she was doing something that is a risky performance of like going against the grain and showing everything she can do. And it was enjoyable to watch. I like her.
I thought
so
she was the absolute best part of this movie.
Yeah, she was so
Haley
good.
Atwell just elevated this movie to something new.
And it's nice too because I've loved her for a long time. I love her as Peggy Carter.
Yeah.
And the Captain Carter show is actually really well done. And it just never really caught on for a Marvel show. It never really kind of went into the stratosphere like the movies did. So I've always loved her, but I really did. I loved once they announced her as the cast. I was like, okay, this is going to be interesting because we already have Rebecca Ferguson. So what are they going to do? So I really did it. I enjoyed her. I thought she was one of the highlights of it.
Yeah, and speaking of that was the intensity of like the whole. You have to choose, and like calling that out, and as audience members, we had to kind of choose, right? Because we knew it was going to happen. We knew it was kind of inevitable that one of them had to go, and you were just praying they were going to find a way because they're Batman, or but it didn't happen.
I'm still not over it.
No,
God.
Okay, yeah,
that was like because
it was rough.
Between this and Greatest Showman, I've fallen in love with Rebecca Ferguson. She is so fantastic, and just seeing the other work that she's done that I wasn't aware of, absolutely love her. And she's been one of my favorite additions to these new films. And so that was heartbreaking.
Yeah, it hurt. But it's Mission Impossible, right? I mean, I guess it's always possible. In Mission Impossible, anything's possible. Because did you pick up, I forgot to ask you about this, Mario, at the end with the train scene with Nebula Paris. And she had the knife in her stomach, but did you hear someone say she has a pulse?
Yeah, she has a pulse.
Yeah.
She'll be back.
So she could be back.
Yeah.
I don't think that we're going to get the same thing with Rebecca Ferguson, but they could, but they might not. But yeah, that was hard. But I loved, you got Tom Cruise running. And you know what scene was really, really, I don't think I've ever seen this in a fight scene. That tiny, tiny little alleyway.
It was like a John Wick scene.
Yeah. You literally, like, there was no room to do anything. It was the whole have a wrestling match in a phone booth.
Yeah.
Like, had to have a fight. And, have you seen that in Russia? They have on Russian TV, they have the boxing inside a phone booth. It reminded me of that.
Yeah. Well, I really enjoyed Pom Klementieff. I thought she did a great job. Because like seeing all the marketing ahead of time with like the painted face and whatnot, I was like, well, okay, what are they going to do here? But I thought they utilized her really well. because it's such a different character than like Mantis from Guardians, and so you see that kind of.
Oh yeah, she's Mantis. I call her Nebula. Yeah, she's Mantis.
No. But it's nice seeing her get to kind of do something different, and she really kind of went for it. That was one of the little stories that's been coming out is about during the fight scene. She was like goading Tom Cruise to like really kick her, and he refused to do so. Yeah. Like she was 100% committed to everything, and you can kind of see it in the film. She's kind of a badass and holding her own with him.
Yeah, no, she was. She was a very. You didn't have to suspend your belief. I bought it. I bought that she was as a dangerous weapon. I bought her as the dangerous henchman that she basically was, right? She was the Jaws for like James Bond. She seemed formidable, so that was really good. How did they know like the whole AI thing? Like in the world that we live in today, how did they know that that's the perfect time to have some almost AI horror for lack
Tom
of a better
Cruise is so ahead of all of us. Yeah. He knows what's going on.
He does.
He's plugged in. He was one of the first guys they AI face swapped anyway.
Yeah.
So he's been on top of that ever since.
Yeah.
He's the original Gabriel.
Yeah.
So what was that? So Tom Cruise couldn't see him because of the augmentation in the glasses. So it's not like he was like a ghost in the beginning, right? It was just the AI was like literally erasing him in real time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So it was still all just tech.
Yeah, and they kind of showed a little bit of it too on their end when they've got all the camera footage has switched his face with the various people to kind of get Shay going after the other people and whatnot, and so they're kind of using that deep fake technology to kind of pop his face onto someone else and back and forth. So
and Gabriel, the whole backstory that they were showing, was he in a previous one?
No.
No.
That's one of the things they talked about is kind of going back to the beginnings. We, in the first Mission Impossible, we're introduced to Ethan as part of a team already, and he's been doing it for a while, so we don't know his full backstory. And this is the first kind of glimpse we've gotten into his life pre the IMF.
So those flashbacks they were doing, that was just the first we've ever seen.
Yeah, that's going to be the payoff, I think, for the second film, is we're going to go even further into that.
Got it, and that makes sense. Did you guys see recently that Tom Cruise says that he wishes that he would have convinced the writers of the original one to not kill the Emilio Estevez character? Like, what was that about?
I think that's just that's one of those.
He wants to work with his buddy again.
Well, I think that too, and it was kind of funny. Like when that first movie came out, I remember seeing that, and I was like, "Oh, it's the coach from Mighty Ducks, yay!" And then seeing that they almost kind of Drew Barrymore'd him in Scream, like he was well known.
Yeah.
And then he's just gone, and it's kind of a shock value thing. You're like, "Oh, nobody's kind of safe."
Yeah, it was a big shocker for sure. But I was thinking about it, when we were kind of laughing of how it has a similar trajectory of it's getting better somehow, like Fast and the Furious hit its peak. This team with Simon Pegg and Ving Rhames, they're family, right? And they really are like driving that home. So I wonder, are they going to start adding to that group? And is that why Grace, the way she was brought in, like to be part of this like family? Because they started off rough, but now he was willing to save her, which was the only time that I kind of like when she was about to get shot, and then he just happens to fall, the parachute happens to go right through there.
Yeah.
That was the only time that's when it felt like it was a little more Fast and Furious for me. Everything else, even though he just jumped his bike off the side of a mountain and controlled the parachute, I was totally fine until the landing. For whatever reason.
That's why he's in charge.
And Mario, you told me the next one is not shot, even though
I heard it wasn't shot, but maybe it is.
I believe they've shot a lot of it because they kind of shot them back to back. But I believe they still have a lot of reshoots to do as well.
Yeah, I liked it. I thought it was really good. I think Haley Atwell is great. Could not get enough of her.
Yep.
She's amazing. I feel that this movie had a couple things going against it. It's pretty flawless. It's well done.
Yeah.
What's going on? Okay. It's well done. But I think it suffers from a few things. Like, I think Mission Impossible has peaked. It's gotten as good as it can possibly get. And this one is right on par with as good as it can possibly get. But, like, I think the last couple have been at that level. So now I'm kind of like, okay, I think this one kind of suffers from the fact that it's only one, it's two-parter. And we've had a lot of two-parters now, you know? It suffers from the fact that it's got an awesome train sequence, awesome. The whole thing with the cars falling off is great.
Yeah.
The running on top, fighting on top.
Oh, man.
But we just saw a train sequence last week, like in Indiana Jones. It's got awesome car chases through European towns, old-looking buildings and stuff. We just saw that like 4 weeks ago in Fast X.
Yeah.
It's got shoot-'em-ups and whatnot at the beginning. Got that whole action vibe. We just had like the greatest shoot-'em-up of all time like a month ago. So it's got all these things that they're great, but we just saw it in other movies.
Yeah.
And maybe to the average moviegoer, maybe that's not going to pop out, but maybe, I don't know. It's great, and I got nothing bad to say about it. I just think it's as good as it can possibly get. I think they just got to land this one, call it a franchise.
That's what I was going to ask you. Is that why they made this one a part 1 and a part 2? Because it wasn't 100% clear, other than that they couldn't finish the story, but it wasn't necessarily a cliffhanger, for lack of a better term, right? I mean,
Yeah.
No, this wasn't. This felt like they completed the mission. They got the key. The next step is to get to the sub, whatever, level 2.
Oh, I got you.
And I think that's part of the issue too. I still think it's great, but I do think I don't want to say suffers because it's a part 1 of 2, but I do think it's one of those where I think when we see 1 and 2 together, it could be, the fantastic thing that it is. But it's almost like, very similar to how I was with the final Harry Potter being split into 2.
Yeah.
I love both of them individually, but they are better when watched as a whole together.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
agree.
necessarily like Deathly Hallows part 1 or part 2. I prefer part 2 because you're seeing all those tie-offs. And so I kind of think that maybe we'll get that with Dead Reckoning part 2, which it comes out next year. Right now it's tracking for June 28th.
Okay, so they must have shot it.
Yeah.
Then, but
So I think they just have
coming out
some
next year.
final reshoots they're going to do, which they've been working on, and then that's kind of...
So yeah, and it's really good. It's good. I think it feels less impactful because we've had three great Mission Impossibles in a row, and they've all topped each other with each subsequent one. Chris McQuarrie's style is very evident now. The feel, the way he does the intros, the way he interweaves the storyline, he's really good at that. He does good action.
Yeah.
So it feels like a Chris McQuarrie thing. So he's done the last 4 or 3, I guess 4 after the next one. I think we're good to wrap this one up. End on a high note. Don't indie yourself, Tom Cruise, on this one.
Although he literally...
Unless he wants to become the boss and he has younger kids. Turn in your badge kind of stuff. You know what I mean? If he's going to be the boss and assign people jobs, something like that. And he could do a run-in here and there, but...
He did say he thanked Harrison Ford for 40-something years of such an iconic character, and he says, I would love to be making Mission Impossible for the next 20 years like that. So I don't think he has any intentions of stopping. But you are right. This will get a little bit Fast and Furious, and like what else can you do with it?
I mean, these are the Fast and Furious is a little ridiculous. I feel like those have just become Vin Diesel movies.
Yeah,
they're not. This is. It's like you said. They've got a formula here that works really well. They figured it out. It's tough to find that kind of groove where you can make a movie, like your aunt said, Temple of Doom was nonstop action.
Yeah,
that's hard to do.
It is.
That's hard to do. And they found a formula that works, and they've done it 3 times. It's great. I just think it's at its peak. I don't know how you top it.
This felt nonstop. This totally
100%.
felt nonstop.
I mean, the pre-credits was Is this another trend in movies? The pre-credit stuff is getting longer.
Yeah, it was really long, right?
Yeah.
I was like, whoa.
It's great. It's another great one. I think it's just in this busy summer of movies, it feels less impactful, you know. And there's not a huge moment in it where I think about it and I pop. Like you watch Ghost Protocol, the stuff in Abu Dhabi, scaling the buildings. That's just can't forget that. You can't forget. I don't know which one it was where he's holding his breath for like 5 minutes.
Oh, that was Rogue Nation.
Right. It's just like this one to me didn't have that sequence, that memorable sequence, and the stunt was fine, but it was, you know.
That's also I think that's
the stunt was fine, but it's topped by the one in the previous movie when they jump out of the plane.
Well, I think also too, I think it suffers from the fact that we saw 9,000 videos about the stunt ahead of time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So,
Again, yeah, Hollywood's got to go back to surprises. You can't, but they don't do it. Who were so I know Benji and Luther, right? Simon Pegg, Ving Rhames, and then I know Issa, Rebecca Ferguson, right? Were those the only returning characters? Like,
I mean, so Ilsa, Luther, and Benji are back for that one. Haley Atwell is obviously a new character. Surprisingly, the one they brought back was Kittredge. Kittredge hasn't been seen since the first film.
Yeah.
And so he's been absent from every other film.
And I forgot that we got swerved on that one because in part one, it looks like he's the heel the whole time, and he's not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's right. Okay, so he was in the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
he's the
I
one
think,
he's the one who's in charge of the IMF.
Benji and Luther have been in it since Ghost Protocol.
No, they were before. So
Luther has been in it the whole time.
Luther's been in it the whole time, and then Benji pops up in 3. He pops up in Mission Impossible 3.
Oh, he is in 3. Okay.
Yeah, that's where they first are introduced to him, and then
We lost Jeremy Renner along the way.
which I'm annoyed at. Because I'm
What
a
happened?
huge,
Yeah, that's right.
I'm a huge mark for Jeremy Renner, and
Got
so
too much. He got too big for his. He's
Wait,
Hawkeye
when
now.
was Jeremy Renner in this?
He's in
4 and
1 or
5.
2. 4 and 5. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really? I did not know that.
Yeah, he's in 4 and 5, and he wasn't in Fallout because we got Superman with his mustache instead, and so. Yeah, with his shotgun arms.
I didn't see the movie, but I remember this.
But I love Jeremy Renner is fantastic. He didn't have as much to do in 5, but in 4 he's an integral part of the story, and he's fantastic in it. But yeah, it was like he was there and they enjoyed it, and then he's just poof gone.
So he was part of the team,
Yep.
Yeah.
and he
I think-
he didn't die off. He just
Nope.
We just got a desk job.
he becomes a
somewhere.
suit,
Yeah.
and then we just never see him again. Which maybe who knows? Maybe he pops up in 8 for all I know. But
Bring him back.
Is he walking yet?
yeah, he's back up and running now.
He is? Wow. That was unreal. I'm curious, what do they do next? You know, so we're talking about if they peaked, like, how would you guys, what direction would you like to see this go? Would you book it in the direction of you bring it a little bit more of an intimate story and less grandiose? Do you book it as the female in Mission Impossible? Well, like, what do you guys?
What do you mean for the next movie?
Yeah, like, what direction do you want to
Are
go?
you talking about part 2 of Dead Reckoning?
No, just where does Mission Impossible go if this is its peak?
I think you.
How
I
do you
think.
book
I
it?
think you stop.
You just
You just stop.
It's the girl you wish you haven't started talking to a party. It's like stop and like don't.
That's tough. It's just we got 8. We got 8 great ones of these.
I think you can stop and you can give it, give it a decade, give it 10 years.
Yeah.
And then you bring back Tom Cruise at
Exactly.
a high level, like running the IMF.
How are we going to miss you if you don't go away? You know what we could do? Why not? Paramount Plus. As soon as this is over, Mission Impossible TV show. Hey, take the Mission Impossible movie and turn it back into a show. That'd be fun.
Yeah, I would be.
You
okay
could do a
with
pretty
that.
solid Mission Impossible show.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, with budgets the way they are these days,
You could book a star to be the lead on that one. Tom Cruise could anoint somebody, and then Tom Cruise could cameo on TV, get his Tulsa King money.
Oh yeah, that would
Why not?
be good. I would be down for that. I'd love to see.
It's
that
missions,
show.
right? Missions. Maybe you do Mission Impossible the college years, and it's like everybody at IMF college, and they're you're getting training, and then Tom Cruise comes in to give them lessons, special advice, and they go on missions.
How to build a device that destructs in 5 seconds.
Exactly. Like running form classes.
They put off a lot of smoke.
Yeah. But I mean, you could do a lot with it. It's a huge IP, but I just think this version of it should go ahead and wrap up.
Just be done.
Just be done. We see it. We're seeing it with Fast and Furious. Like, I mean, did we discuss that movie? How did you feel about that movie, Jeff? The Fast X?
Yeah, I mean, it was a fast movie.
It was a movie.
Yeah.
And it was like, if you're a fan of the series, you might have enjoyed it, but we're pretty much getting the same thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it doesn't feel that.
So it's just, I think Mission Impossible has not hit that yet, but I think they're approaching it.
They are getting there.
And after Dead Reckoning Part 2, I would put a fork in it, rest for 10 years. Yeah, and then Tom Cruise can come back as the boss.
Is that that's how you book it, B-Rose?
I mean, I think it really depends on Cruise. I think that he is smart enough as a producer to know that if you can do another one and do it well, then let's go for it. But if not, let's not. I mean, there's a reason he did Maverick. He didn't have to do it. No one was clamoring for another Top Gun.
Yeah.
But someone found a story that worked, that was intriguing, that he saw potential in. So he was like, let's do it. And there's a lot of reasons why Maverick should not have worked. And it was it was one of the top films of the year.
Yeah.
And so I think that if he has that nugget and if he finds a way to continue doing this and keeping the quality, then fine. But if there's even a hindrance of a doubt, don't push it. And I think he's smart enough to understand that.
Yeah, I totally buy that. I think
you see the kids from IMF College can grow up to be the next Mission Impossible movie stars. Book your own stars. Turn them into franchises.
Well, they built this whole film about the choice. About it's pointed out multiple times in the very beginning, the intro with the Uber Eats driver. He's new to the IMF and he's having to give him some tips and saying he made the right choice and going back to the choice they all made and then giving Haley the choice. And you even kind of see a small thread with, I forget his last name, but Shay, the guy who plays the guy who's chasing Tom Cruise. He's fantastic in a lot of films.
Yeah.
But his partner, who's questioning and ideals, and he's like doing the whose side are you on, and he goes, everybody's kind of thing.
Oh, yeah.
They're sowing some seeds for him to kind of see the reasoning behind Tom Cruise, behind Ethan Hunt. And so you could even possibly set that up as a potential IMF agent as well, too.
It would be cool to see if they figure out how to spin it off, because obviously it's a pretty rich story.
Yeah, I mean, Tom Cruise is going to be hard to replace.
Yeah.
You can't replace Tom Cruise. That's why you have to just take it in a completely different direction.
No, I mean, he's been acting for 41 years. His first movie was in 1981. I mean, that's a lot of decades.
Should we talk about Tom Cruise for a little bit? Since I think we all kind of feel the same way about Mission Impossible.
Yeah, I think we should totally jump to Tom Cruise. And I kind of let my spoiler out last week. You know, that my favorite Tom Cruise movie is Losing It from 1983, which is just his third movie. I don't know. You guys have, B-Rose, you have Tom Cruise. What's your favorite Tom Cruise movie?
I do, and it's not even that it's one of my favorite movies just in general. But it just happens to have him in it. I absolutely love, and I literally just watched it again for probably the 30th time a few weeks ago, is The Last Samurai.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I absolutely love The Last Samurai, and I love him in it as well, too.
I completely forgot that movie existed. He's done so many.
2003.
He's got so many movies.
It's a great film. It's got an outstanding soundtrack. You get Ken Watanabe's in there. It's a great movie.
That is really good.
Tom Cruise is like one of the last great movie stars.
Yeah, for sure.
Who also happens to be an actually good actor.
Yeah,
we've got a lot. Actor. We've got some like.
He doesn't have an Oscar, does he?
No.
Did he give up on trying to win an Oscar? Yeah, but he doesn't do very many Oscar movies anymore.
I thought The Last Samurai was his attempt.
Why just to spoilify myself, my favorite Tom Cruise performance is that one he did in Magnolia, and I think he almost won an Oscar for that one.
Oh wait, no, it says he got Best Supporting Actor in 2000
for Rain Man.
No, he's never actually won an Oscar.
Oh,
he's been nominated 4 times. Although here's a hot take, and I'm getting ready to get the look from Mario. I do not like Magnolia.
Oh, well, yeah, it's like Mission Impossible 2. They're cut from the same cloth. It was that era.
Like, I remember watching it and, like, I like his performance and there's a couple of good performances, but I know so many people who just fall over it, and I'm just like, it just was not for me at all.
Yeah, no, I can totally see that. It's of its time, man, and it's one of those just a movie that would never get made today. Although, if you made it for the same price, maybe. I don't know. They spend so much money on movies now. But it never get made. It's a huge, sprawling... I mean, now I'm wrong. I don't even know, because I think about Beau is Afraid and how that got made. P.T. Anderson was just in that time and place. He had come off Boogie Nights, and huge acclaim, Oscar buzz, whatever. And it's like, what do you want to do? And he's like, well, have this idea, and then, here you go make it. And, had carte blanche to do whatever he wants. And he did whatever he wants. Yeah. It's not for everyone, but it's definitely cinema.
So he's been nominated for 4 Oscars. He got nominated for Best Picture for Maverick, then Best Supporting Actor for Magnolia, and then Best Actor for Born on the 4th of July and Jerry Maguire.
Born on the 4th of July.
Jerry Maguire. Oh.
Those were his... I forgot about Jerry Maguire, too.
Yeah, and Jerry Maguire's another... I would say it's not... As a film, it's not as good as other things he's done, but his performance in that is phenomenal.
Oh, yeah, I forgot that exists. Now I want to change mine to Jerry Maguire.
I 100% already been reading through and was like, yeah, I need to change mine. You like Losing It better than Risky Business? Yes, I do like Losing It better than Risky Business.
Oh my gosh.
I do like that. And don't get me wrong, I like Risky Business. There's something about Losing It with... Jackie Earle and crossing the border and just that whole on the road type comedy and stuff. So I don't know. I remember watching that a lot. I watched that a lot more than Risky Business. But I mean, that's kind of like Ferris Bueller. Like, of course you like it. I don't remember watching Ferris like so many times that it's just like singed in your brain. But then again, that could have been whatever was going on in New York at that time with what we were watching and stuff we shouldn't be watching.
Yeah.
I tell you what, though, Last Samurai is always going to be my favorite Tom Cruise movie. But if we're going to talk just a performance by him, I don't think anything will ever top Les Grossman in Tropic Thunder.
No.
Okay.
I mean, geez.
Yeah, that was unreal.
Just and so unexpected. Nobody saw it coming.
Mm-mm.
And just, my God, how amazing is that to watch?
Tom Cruise plays a great heel.
Oh, yeah.
He's great. He's great in Collateral. I forgot about
great
Collateral.
in Collateral.
Oh, yeah, that was good.
He plays a great heel. That's why if they ever do that evil Iron Man with him, he's going to be perfect.
Oh, man. That'll get the pop. We're chasing the dragon. That'll get the pop for sure. Yeah, he was great. That's another, how you can gauge how great Les Grossman is? So many memes. So many Les Grossman memes.
If they turn you into a Halloween costume, you're over.
Yeah, and he's got that. He had a really great run of really good sci-fi films too, right? I know Vanilla Sky was I wouldn't really. Yeah, I guess that's a little bit, but that was also like a remake. But Oblivion, I remember liking Oblivion a lot.
Oblivion is very underrated.
Yeah, Oblivion was good. And
Oblivion's fine, but the other one's better.
Edge of Tomorrow.
Edge of Tomorrow.
Yeah,
which Christopher McQuarrie wrote.
Yeah.
Did he wrote?
He wrote that one.
Okay, yeah. Live, Die, Repeat. They swapped it up.
Which was such a baller title. And
it's based on a comic book, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the fact that they didn't keep that, and they knew very early on, like once it came out, and they started, annotating it. So it was Edge of Tomorrow, Live, Die, Repeat. They started adding that in there just because they realized how good of a title it actually was.
All right, I'm going to...
That's like when Disney changed the title of Blood In, Blood Out to Bound by Honor.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Can you think of a bad Tom Cruise performance?
Not a bad performance. He's been in bad movies, right?
Yeah.
Or I can't think of one. What is a bad Tom Cruise movie?
Rock of Ages.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
He's not great. I mean, he's good in that one. He's kind of steals the show, obviously, because he's playing that kind of person. But if you learn that he can actually sing too.
Yeah.
But it's an awful movie.
Never saw that.
People were not happy with his performance for Jack Reacher, especially now.
See, I love Jack Reacher.
But compared to the Jack Reacher that's on Amazon now,
See, I like the Jack Reacher that's on Amazon. I really do. But I liked those movies and those because those are Christopher McQuarrie movies too. That's kind
He
of
did
where
that too?
Yeah,
I didn't
that's
know they
where he
ran
started
so
forming
deep.
that kind of bond with Cruise. I like both of those movies actually.
oh my God, I forgot he was Stacy Jackson, Rock of
Yeah,
Ages,
he was
like you just
Stacey
said.
Jacks,
oh my
yeah.
God, I forgot about that. Yeah, that didn't really work. All right, I'm going to put you guys on the spot where I just had it. It's going to be a coin toss of. So the year is 1988. Which Tom Cruise movie do you like better?
Cocktail.
Cocktail better than Rain Man. You did get it right. That was correct. I was like, holy smokes, you did get the year right. But yeah, that was the same year as Rain Man. Which one do you like better?
I like Rain Man better.
You like Rain Man better?
I think Cocktail's a bit overrated, honestly.
Yeah, okay.
I like his performance in Cocktail. I like the way he plays Cocktail, but Rain Man is the far superior film.
Yeah.
But like that one, Rain Man's he's playing the straight man, and in Cocktail he's I don't want to say he's the comic relief, but he's the star. He's the one that everyone's looking at and stuff like that. Whereas in Rain Man, he's very He's playing the straight, understated kind of role.
But also he's a heel.
Yeah.
In Rain Man, another instance of him being a heel.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he was. Yeah, he totally was. All right, another Tom Cruise head-to-head. All the Right Moves or Days of Thunder?
Days of Thunder.
Days of Thunder?
100%.
Okay. Mario, same?
Okay.
It's tough. It's tough.
I honestly, I'm gonna say All the Right Moves. I don't really love Days of Thunder. It feels like
That was his follow-up.
it's Top Gun 2.
Yeah.
The cars. Top Gun 2 cars. You know what I mean? It didn't really work for me. That one was not super memorable.
That one I never really cared for until about, I want to say 4 or 5 years ago. I went back and rewatched it. And
Days of Thunder?
Yeah, I like it a lot more now. I remember not really caring about it at all.
I mean, is it Tony Scott?
I believe
I
so.
believe so, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Tony Scott's great, but
Can we get Yondu in it?
That's
Yeah.
right.
I don't know. That one just, yeah. That
Does
one-
the legend of Ricky Bobby exist without Days of Thunder?
Oh, no.
No, definitely not.
It's pretty amazing that, and I can't call this a Tom Cruise movie because he was in it, but it was an ensemble. But that The Outsiders was his third movie, so that's pretty incredible. All right, let me find you guys another head-to-head. All right, we got where oh dang, I lost it. The Firm. Do you guys like The Firm? Mm-hmm. Or Born on the 4th of July?
Born on the 4th of July.
Okay.
I still like Oliver Stone.
Yeah, and I guess that was a little bit more. They were swinging for the fences.
Yeah,
on
he was going for an Oscar there.
Yeah. B Rose.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
Same way.
I think Born on the 4th of July is a much better movie. I like The Firm because this came out at an age where I was bonding with my mother over books, and so she was only reading John Grisham novels. So I would start reading John Grisham. I'm the only 9-year-old reading John Grisham novels, and so I remember because of that we both went and saw The Firm together and stuff like that. So it holds that kind of sentimental thing for me. But Born on the 4th of July is a much better performance in movie.
Yeah, and I feel like that was a big. We had one going for the Oscar, but The Firm was a little bit more like it was a big deal that he was going to be making. He was going to be in The Firm. It's crazy to think that. I don't know why it didn't stick in my head that he actually did cameo in Austin Powers as Austin Powers.
And someone posted a TikTok recently about how that was like one of the greatest sets of cameos because there's 4 cameos right in a row.
Yeah.
And you get him as Austin Powers, you get Gwyneth Paltrow, whatever. You get Kevin Spacey, which doesn't age very well, as
it does
Dr.
not.
Evil. And then Danny DeVito shows up as Mini-Me.
That's right. And John Travolta as Goldmember.
Yeah.
He had 5 in there. Yeah, the Kevin Spacey one didn't age too well.
Never underestimate how popular Austin Powers was for a few years.
am really
It was like
surprised
the
that
funniest thing ever for a while.
I'm really surprised that it hasn't been revisited. And then, didn't we see Mike Myers in something pretty recently too? But it wasn't comedy.
No, he did that Netflix film about the global powers that run the government.
Oh, yes. I totally messed up our gimmick too because I was trying to find similar vibe movies, and
So,
then it jumped around.
I've got one that'll be interesting.
Okay.
Because this is a hard one for me. 1988 with Rain Man, or 1992 with A Few Good Men.
Oh, I don't know if you can handle the truth. I mean, I'm going back to Rain Man, I guess.
I think it's apples and oranges here.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
It's hard to compare those because they're just completely different Tom Cruise performances, and part of A Few Good Men, what makes it awesome is the mystery of it, solving that mystery. Obviously, it's got dialogue by Sorkin, untoppable. You can't beat it.
Yeah.
But Rain Man, you've got the whole sentimental angle.
Yeah.
So they're just so different. It's hard to compare. Shout out to Tom Cruise for doing different stuff.
He did.
That's why I think he needs to retire Mission Impossible. Just let it go. Let's give it a break.
Yeah. I mean, looking at this stuff, I mean, he was in Interview with a Vampire.
Yeah.
I mean, that's range. And then to go to, Philip K. Dick, he had Minority Report, which that was
I
a little.
forgot about that. That's
Which is
awesome.
also an underrated film.
Yeah. I mean, that's a Philip K. Dick. Probably the most disappointed Tom Cruise movie walking out of, and that's just because I'm a mark for the Universal Monsters, was The Mummy.
Yeah.
I didn't see that one.
It was very.
I liked what they were going to try and do to build that universe, but I just think it's just not a good movie. I don't think he's bad in it. I think it's just not a good movie.
It wasn't bad, and it wasn't the effects. It wasn't the girl was playing the mummy. We did see Jekyll and Hyde, Russell Crowe. There was just so much potential, and it just that first. You wouldn't think to lead if you're going to launch a universe and you lead it with Tom Cruise that what happened was going to happen. Yeah. So it was really disappointing. And I get it. I mean, I wanted it to be way better than it was. The Tom Cruise movie I didn't see that I really wanted to see and I still haven't seen, and I'd watch it today, was American Made. Mm-hmm. That was good?
Yeah, it's very good.
He was heel-ish in there, right?
A little bit, yeah.
He's a cool heel.
Yeah, he was a cool heel.
Yeah, I mean, it was good. I don't remember. I don't know why that one didn't do better. I don't know if the guy he was playing turned out to be kind of controversial or something like that. But it's a good movie. It's like he's doing a Scorsese gimmick in that one. It's like his Goodfellas.
Got it. Yeah, that's what I felt. That's a good way to put it. That's what I had felt. But since 2018, after The Mummy and The American Made, he's, I guess, for lack of a better term, played it safe, because then you have Fallout, Top Gun Maverick, Dead Reckoning. He hasn't, I don't know what else. What does he do next? Like, where does he go? Because he's clearly going to continue to act.
I want to see Rain Man 2 Storm Season.
He doesn't. I don't know that Tom Cruise wants to do anything but huge action movies now.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's going to go back and do a Rain Man. Maybe he's definitely going to get his Marvel check at some point. Just to be
Iron Man. The booking is just too good.
Yeah, he's got to be
too good.
I don't know what comes next. Again, it's just maybe he can find a book or biography or something that he can sort of really sink his teeth into. But I think, it's even more evident. He's only made Mission Impossible movies for the last 5 years.
Yeah.
I think it's time to just put a fork in those.
Yeah, but then he has to go to another direction. I don't know. Yeah, besides Storm Season, I'm trying to go through, like, which one does he...
I honestly, TV show be damned. I would love to see a third Jack Reacher.
Okay.
Everyone's complaints about that movie is that he's not the Jack Reacher from the books. I don't care. I don't care. Same reason I don't care that Hugh Jackman is way too tall to be Wolverine from the books. Yeah. I don't care.
Oh, yeah, they flip-flopped on that,
As long as you can do the character well, I don't care if he doesn't look exactly like it. And I think, both Jack Reacher movies are very, very well done. I think it was just a matter of not enough people saw it.
Yeah.
To make it, there is enough to make the second one. But, if you think about that first one, we get freaking Werner Herzog as the villain. And he's fantastic.
Yeah, that's right.
Like, both of those movies are really well done. And so, if he and McQuarrie don't want to make more Mission Impossibles, I'm all on board for a Jack Reacher 3.
I think those didn't get over because with Tom Cruise in that role, you just saw Tom Cruise. So it's just like Tom Cruise, the movie.
Yeah.
You know? It was hard for him to disappear, whereas the guy who plays Reacher now, who I think is really cool, he can disappear into that because we don't know him.
Yeah.
But we know Tom Cruise, and I think those movies, to a lot of people, felt like this is just Tom Cruise being cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's nothing wrong, no heat with them. They're good movies. Tom Cruise makes good movies.
He does. There's not really, again, there's not, going through his filmography, there's not really a big bad in there that you're like, woof. I guess if you were going to go for the Remember Berries, if he was going to dig deeper, I'm surprised they didn't do some kind of like, why haven't we met Joel's kids or from Risky Business? Like if they wanted to do riskier business and to go back, if they wanted to go for a revisit. I don't think, it's funny, I'm starting to look at the stuff in the 90s, maybe enough time hasn't passed. I don't know if you'd want to go back. Like, do you want to see a where are they now for Jerry Maguire? How could they do that?
I'm not as interested in that. I think if he doesn't go truly like unique and original, I mean, I'd hate for him to go back to the well, but I think you could do the exact same thing he did with Top Gun Maverick and apply it to Days of Thunder. I think you can show him as the old guy still racing who shouldn't be, and the young almost, but they also did that in Cars 3. Like Cars 3 is the exact same story. So, you know, it's kind of one of those, I agree. I think he needs to find something like, while a lot of people didn't care for it and didn't go see Oblivion, I thought Oblivion was a nice original story.
Yeah,
and
I was very happy with
that's
Oblivion.
part of the issue we have now is that original stories, very few of them actually break through.
Yeah, I really did like Oblivion. I remember being pleasantly surprised. Like I didn't know much about it either, so going back.
But I think, and this is one thing, I think Oblivion gets confused with a couple of other movies.
Yeah.
It gets confused with Live, Die, Repeat and Minority Report.
Yeah, he had those all in a row.
So it's got I think that movie was affected by that. Because that was the third one in that series, you know.
And even War of the Worlds, you can kind of tie
And
that
War
one
of the
as well,
Worlds too. So it's all, they just kind of feel the same. So he definitely has a history of taking these safe bets. But like if I'm Tom Cruise's agent, I would say this is what I think he should do after Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning 2. Go, let's get some writers. Go meet some get the good writers on board. Get your best peeps, and let's give us that Les Grossman movie.
Oh man,
yeah.
Les Grossman as the lead of the movie, running a studio, making a film, doing something like that, and make him the centerpiece. And he's a heel, getting into scenarios, situations. I think you do a lot with that.
Man, that would be fun. That would be really fun. I would enjoy that. I was thinking, I thought maybe I would like to see a fake ESPN documentary about Jerry Maguire, but I think I'd have to go. No, I think I'd rather see Les Grossman. What about wasn't The Color Money a sequel to The Hustler, which was like a 30 years later?
Yeah.
Could they do something along the lines, or is that IP not even known enough for them? That would come off as original, at least, because it's been so old. It was older.
Well, that was really Paul Newman's franchise.
Yeah.
So without him, you don't have that. And that was also, I feel like that one just gets remembered as a Martin Scorsese movie, more so.
Yeah.
I think what I'd really like to see him do as a next step, I mean, I love what he's doing with McQuarrie. He's got a track record for it. I'd like to see him join something like a Christopher Nolan film, where something is written for him, a character, a performance that he can actually go in and not be Tom Cruise. He needs something like Interstellar, where he can be a film star, but actually have an original story and it not be the Tom Cruise show. I think that's something he needs, and McQuarrie could probably give that to him if he needs to, but I think he needs to find just something original like that to kind of give him.
That's a good call.
Something unique and maybe a new person to work with, just to kind of give it a fresh look.
Yeah, that's a good call. I would love to see him in a Nolan movie. Like, yeah, that would be really cool. Probably even more so than the Remember Berries. I'm still sticking with losing it.
Losing it too.
Lost.
Yeah. Lost it.
Lost it. All right. Go home spot. Mario. Oh, wait, no, not go home spot. We had to pick one more versus movie.
Okay, this is going to. I feel like this is the main event of the summer.
Yes.
This is if the summer thus far has been a pay-per-view. This is the match that there's stuff after this, but this is the match you want to see.
Yeah, I totally agree.
It's coming. I don't know if you guys have your tickets yet, but I'm sorry, the thing's loading. I don't know if you guys have your tickets yet, but it's here. We're on the precipice of the battle of the Hollywood.
Battle of the Bombshells.
The Battle of the Bombshells. The Battle of the Industry Titans.
Yeah.
Barbie versus Chris Nolan.
The blonde bombshell versus the nuclear bombshell. What I don't know though. It might be a clean sweep here, right? Is this a clean sweep? Because I have not purchased my ticket. I'm going to be traveling, but I'm still think Barbie is going to be the one that I'm probably going to go see first. I think we're talking about this because Tom Cruise, unwillingly or willingly to save Hollywood, not only did he drop Mission Impossible, but he got pulled into this, and he was showing tickets and his order has been shared and it's gone viral.
I don't think it matters what order you see these in, does it?
Well, I mean, I guess no. I think the whole thing, again, it's the Cola Wars. It's a gimmick. They want you to see both because most people are going to see both. But I think the fun lies in which one do you want to go see first. But in the end, yeah, it won't matter.
This is so exciting to me.
Yeah.
This is super exciting to me that we've hit peak movie summer here because we have two huge movies coming out the same weekend. It's been a while since they've done that.
That we've had that, yeah.
And you used to have like The Thing and E.T. drop on the same day. You know what I mean? This is like two huge movies, both deserve their own weekend, and studios go out of their way to avoid this. They mark down their spots years in advance.
Yeah.
So this doesn't happen.
And we had a couple of weekends, the post, just even 2 weeks ago, like the biggest drop, and I didn't even get to go see it, was Insidious: The Red Door. Either one of these movies could have went there. I guess they didn't want to be before Mission Impossible, but there was a weekend open for one of them to do it. And I don't think Mission Impossible was going to Barbie was going to cut. Maybe Oppenheimer could have lost crowd to Mission Impossible, but Barbie wouldn't have. Barbie didn't budge, so good for her. Because again, I think I'm leaning towards Barbie. I think more people that I've spoken to are more excited about going to Barbie, and the key people are the people who don't normally go to the movies.
I'm super excited for Barbie.
Yeah.
And tickets are sold out. Brian, you got tickets?
Not yet.
Man, they're going fast. You can't get any Alamo seats. Oppenheimer is also pretty sold out, but Alamo's only playing it like once a day, which I don't understand. I don't know if they're maybe doing film prints, and that complicates it, but Barbie and Oppenheimer are both super sold. It's just so crazy that now everyone is going to go to the movies twice on a weekend. I'm not going to be the weirdo that does that.
Yeah, I was going to say that we do that, but
it's going to be everyone has a mission to go see them both. I'm super excited for Barbie. I think it's going to be great. I've heard some of the early reviews, and it's exactly what I was hoping.
You heard what Kevin Smith? I think it was Kevin Smith that said that, right, on his his drinking pod that we just watched.
Yeah,
he says there's rumors of Ryan Gosling being nominated for an Oscar playing Ken.
This is an Oscar director. This has been the game. The director and the writer are Oscar nominated folks. Nolan is too, right? But they're not. They didn't book some folks here that did some music videos and yada yada to make a Barbie movie.
McGee.
These are like serious filmmakers. The writer writes movies about divorce and family dysfunction, and the director makes like whimsical female-led dramas.
Yeah.
Yep. they're going for an Oscar at this movie. They didn't want to show their hand, but that's what they're going for.
I think you're right. I don't think anybody expected.
And Warner
Barbie was in it for an
Brothers
Oscar.
Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer is like the trailer for that might as well be like a trailer at the beginning of Tropic Thunder. It feels so Oscar-y, No, Warner Brothers said, "Wait a minute, this is also an Oscar movie." So
and it also has Downey in it too.
We're
So
going head to head. So I don't know. I'm excited.
It's very excited. I hear people talking about girls' night going to see Barbie. I see there's people that are talking about getting dressed up to go see Barbie. I think it's gonna be fun. I'm with you. I like the idea of I'm gonna find a way to see both. That's the way to do it. That was the way Tom Cruise led with it. But if he had to pick, he chose Oppenheimer Friday, Barbie Saturday. But then he reiterated, I'm gonna see both with a packed crowd, and that's my goal.
I've got Oppenheimer Friday at like 2 p.m. and then Barbie brunch Saturday morning.
Man, that's a perfect brunch movie too. It just really works.
I think so.
Everything about that works. But I would have lost that bet if I would have said Barbie, the Academy Award nominated film Barbie. That's what they're going for. And I do remember, like, they showed one scene of Ken, and when he was in there talking in one of the trailers, and I remember laughing out loud. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, this is gonna be funny. Is Ryan Gosling funny?
Dude, have you not seen The Nice Guys?
Yeah,
Oh yeah, he was great.
he's
Yeah,
great
he was
in The
great
Nice
in Nice
Guys.
Guys.
He's a
Yeah,
great
he was.
he's got great comedic timing.
Yeah, he was funny in The Nice Guys. Okay, yeah, he's gonna be funny. But I just love the idea. I hope it happens. I hope he does get nominated for it, because this is a weird anomaly that it would be cool and funny to see an IP of a toy get nominated for Oscars, because we know Transformers is not going to do it.
Like, I don't have a whole lot of hope of him getting like an Oscar nomination. Him specifically.
Look at that picture.
I think this was on
It's so
JoeBlow.com.
glorious.
Oh, that's
Credit
so
them.
good.
I don't see him getting, and I haven't seen it, so I can't say. I'd be surprised if we got an Oscar nomination, but I 100% think the film itself will. I think that film has got a stylistic approach that is just top notch, 100%.
I will just direct you to the 1987-88 Academy Awards. Marissa Tomei won an Oscar for My Cousin Vinny.
Yeah.
But well deserved too.
Well deserved.
But people did not see that coming.
That
at
was
the
a
time.
that was a
big
goofy
surprise.
comedy. My Cousin Vinny, you look at the trailer, this looks like utter nonsense. This is no way this is a good movie.
And it becomes one of the best movies
Yeah.
ever made.
Yeah,
Exactly.
And it's like, wait, the girl that was from the Cosby spinoff?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be good. I'm
For just doing a Long Island accent, you know?
and her clock was ticking. My clock's ticking.
That's great. When they get her in the hot seat in court at the very end. Anyway, that's a great movie.
yeah.
My cousin. Let's do a whole episode on My Cousin.
Oh, I
Vinny.
could do 4 episodes on My Cousin Vinny. Just the monologue about the deer alone is worthy of its own episode.
Okay, so Jeff, you're traveling. So you're traveling for Barbie, Oppenheimer, Mageddon. What are they calling this? Barbieheimer or Oppenheimer?
Barbieheimer. Yeah.
You're traveling for Barbieheimer. You have no tickets. This is crazy.
I know, and
You have no tickets to these movies.
and I can't tell you how much that disturbs me, and I'm stressed
I'm
about
disturbed.
it, and it's hurting me.
Yeah.
And I even went out of the way. I found the theater where it's on an island, but it's there, and I was like, okay, and I saw seats, and then I'm like, oh, cool. There's a 3 o'clock, there's a 6 o'clock, but it's that whole vacation void that you don't know, like, do I buy tickets just for me? Do I buy tickets for everybody? Like, what do I do here? Like, usually I'll just like walk out the door and go to the movies. It's like, I don't have to worry about it. I'm going to be around a bunch of people, and I feel like I don't know what the protocol is here.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's going to be, I'm rolling the dice and waiting at the last second to like, okay, I'm going to go to the movies. Whoever wants to go, get in the car.
Because your skin will be crawling if the movie's playing and you haven't seen it.
Oh, it does. I cannot tell you how painful that is. If there's a movie the only other way that gets worse, if there's a movie you really want to see, but you're with somebody that talks you into go see a movie that you're like, okay, I'll go see it, and then you walk by and you hear the movie that you really wanted to see but then you go to that other movie. That's the only.
I
other
would never
cringy-
do that. That's insanity.
That's the only thing that's cringier than what you're about to feel, just knowing that I want my hat in the ring for this. I mean, John Cena's going to be a freaking merman. Like, what? Oh, we have to be in that. I feel like this is like...
Oh, Kinmaid.
They talk about, like, we were talking about Marvel earlier with all their cameos. Like, this is a solid cast in Barbie, too. A solid cast.
Dude, when you have Oscar nominated, or wait, Greta won an Oscar, didn't she?
She did. Yeah, I believe she did.
These are Oscar winners. When you have that, actors want to be in your movie.
Yeah.
They can afford to do scale on Barbie and like get 20 billion for whatever BS they made the year before. It's okay. I think this is going to be the movie of the summer. I hope. I think it's going to take a lot for this to tank. I don't think it'll tank.
Oh, I don't think it's going to.
I don't think it's going to tank, but I also don't think it's going to disappoint, which is maybe not the way to approach things. But I feel like it's going to be good. Oppenheimer has to impress me. I think Tenet really lowered my stock on Nolan. Not that I think he's a bad director, but I'm just like, this is too convoluted for me to even follow. And also, I'm not interested in Oppenheimer at all.
Yeah.
I wish he wouldn't have invented the bomb. That would have been better.
Yeah, exactly. Well, like Matt Damon said in the Zero.
Yeah.
Zero would be better.
Yeah, but they're making a movie about it now. So, and I've heard that people say it's a wallop. It's like, how is it a wallop? It's like a biography.
Yeah.
But how is it wallop? They said Nolan turned it into something amazing. So it's like, okay, I'm game. I'm gonna go. I'm going.
He's a great filmmaker, and that's what wants to. Even though Tenet was like super confusing, I still don't get it. It was still, like you said earlier, it's so well made. The casting was good. It just, you couldn't figure out what the hell was going on.
Yeah.
Well, Oppenheimer himself it's an interesting figure because it's someone who had such an impact on the world and then regretted a lot of what he did.
Yeah.
And so I think it's a nice...
Like the guy who invented coffee pods.
He did, yeah. He also did regret that. And the guy who created that fish game that had to go through the wall, he regretted that too.
What? Which game?
The game that was so addicting that he's like, no, I'm not going to have this happen to people, and he pulled it off the App Store. It's just like you have the walls of here, and you just got to guide the fish going through and not run into the wall.
I never played that one.
Oppenheimer, coffee pods, fish to the wall guy. Oh man, but yeah, I agree. I think cinema wins because I think Mission Impossible has enough momentum. It's going to still be lingering at the top, and now you have two really great movies that are going to be dropping at the same time. I think Hollywood's going to be like, whew, okay, we're not, because they got a lot of problems right now.
Yeah, I mean, what do we do with all these streaming channels now? What are we going to put on there if we're going to put everything in theaters now?
Exactly.
I mean, look, HBO was like, they were going to put Evil Dead Rise right on the service.
Oh, can you imagine?
And they instead made $500 million. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, like they must be like, we don't know what the hell we're doing at all. We don't know what movies to pick. We have no idea. It's all a gamble. It's all a lottery ticket.
Man,
Let's just put them all in the theater. Cancel the streaming service. Cancel all these streaming services. Make people come buy a ticket.
yeah, or just do like they used to do with HBO. You knew there was windows, there was tiers, there was levels to this. You go to see it at the theater, then you go to rent it, then you go to HBO, and it's just like, and movies, like which movie you decided to see, you were going to see it in one of them.
Yeah.
It was never a question of if you were going to see the movie or not. It was a question of where were you going to see
When
the
and
movie?
how.
Yeah, when and now, like Mario said with the streaming services, now it's a question of I didn't even know that movie was out. Mm-hmm. And that's what the problem is. You know? Nobody knows nothing.
Yeah.
But there were some good movies this year, so that'll be our go home spot. We don't play with fire here. We're not Oppenheimer. We're just going to pick 3 of our favorite movies this year so far. B-Roy, you want to go first?
I really don't.
No, okay.
I'm not 100% yet.
Mario will go first. You want to go first, or
I'll
can
go
even
first.
I'll go first either.
I
already got mine locked.
I'll go first. I have no problem. We did a spot January, maybe December, Jeff.
Yep.
We talked about how many movies were coming out this year.
Yes.
That's why I thought it was good. We needed now that we're at the mid-season here.
Yeah, we are.
Just a reality check. top movies. These are just your opinion. We don't have to go by any kind of thing. What are your top movies of 2023 thus far? My number 3. I think it's probably on a lot of people's lists, maybe on y'all's, but I'm gonna have to go with Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Yeah. Yep.
I just like we were just saying earlier. I saw it was on purchasable last night. Bought it immediately in the middle of the night. Started watching it immediately. Man, this movie is moody, emotional.
Packs a wallop.
It packs a wallop.
There's a lot of emotion, and the emotion, the tension that was not broken after Thanos and Endgame, and we just had the lighthearted, great Spider-Man, but this felt like all the other stuff didn't happen, and now I felt like this is the aftermath of Endgame in the Guardians of the Galaxy universe.
Yeah, and again, I just think that you could scoop these out of the Marvel universe and they can exist on their own. That's how good these are.
Agreed.
They
Totally
don't need
agreed.
Marvel to be good.
Totally agree.
Yeah, everything about it was just such a great closeout to the trilogy here, and I think James Gunn, what a weird situation. His current job is failing, but his last job is like the best thing he's ever done.
Yes,
it's crazy,
and it's him. And yeah, wow, good, yeah, good call.
Is this on any of you guys' list too?
Oh, this is my number 1. If you want to spoil,
this is your number 1.
That is my number 1.
All right. Well, I mean, we're talking about it now. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is 100% my number 1. I teared up a lot during this movie, and that was my tell, because if you can make you laugh,
I was watching it last night. I tear up as soon as the Radiohead song comes on.
You do,
yeah.
But you also got big, legit belly laughs, like pop belly laughs, and you had both, and that's real life, right? Laughter and tears, that is real life, and James Gunn found a way to make you care about this ragtag sea-level group of heroes that nobody, probably not any casual fans, even heard of before these movies, and now he made them household names.
I think I need to, I think it's I'm one of the biggest marks for Marvel anyways. In the Guardians specifically films, I absolutely loved it. I think I need to see it again. Because I've only seen it twice in the theaters. I think if I watch it again, it might enter my top 3. Right now, I've got it tied for 4th.
Okay.
But I also think I haven't watched it enough.
A lot of movies this year.
Because the other ones I've watched,
for me, it was between this and Cocaine Bear. I had to make them.
Well, what is your number? So this was your 3. What was your number 2?
Can I just cite real quick? The other day, I was at my parents' house, and they started asking me about Cocaine Bear, and I was like, "Why? You want to see Cocaine Bear?" I said, "Yeah, it looks good." It's like, okay, what channel is it on? I said, "Well, it's on Peacock. Let me sign you up for Peacock." And they got all together. My family, my sister, the kids, everybody watched Cocaine Bear together.
Cocaine brings people together.
Yeah. It's an event movie.
It is.
I mean, that was a big event movie this year. We forget
really
about it.
was.
It was like Cocaine Bears this week.
Yes.
It took over the world. Anyway, great.
People were really psyched about it.
Okay, so I'll keep going.
Yeah, you might as well go for your number.
I'll just go with my number 2 for the year. It was close. It was close what this was going to be. But this one, I just enjoyed it so much. Came out of nowhere. Trailer blew me away. And when I saw this movie, and it does not disappoint. It was short, sweet, to the point. It's got to be Sisu. Oh, that's a terrible image.
Oh, Sisu. Man. I still didn't get to go see it.
So this is literally... I may end up watching this tonight because I haven't seen it yet. I've heard so many people talk about it, and it's been popping up in my feed. And I was literally looking for a movie to watch late tonight or possibly tomorrow. I'm like, I think I need to finally go ahead and watch Sisu.
This one it's just 90 minutes of joy, And if you're a Tarantino fan, this is just the way. This would be a good back-to-back with Mad Heidi because it got Tarantino all over it. Man. It's I think it was kind of sold as like John Wick, but it's not like John Wick. It's different.
I saw the trailer before John Wick, and that's where I saw it first. So
I don't even know that he ever uses a gun in this movie. I'm not sure that he does.
Wow. Okay.
This is just it's similar to John Wick in that there's a legend, yada yada, but this is not the greatest hitman or whatever of all time. This is just a guy who had a reputation. You don't want to piss him off.
Damn.
You don't want to piss this guy off.
Very good pick.
It's a great. It's a breeze to watch. I guarantee you. When you get through it, you're gonna want to start it over.
It feels like it would be so. Yeah, it feels like an easy watch. So I'm not surprised. All right.
Fun. What's your number 2, Jeff?
All right. You want my number 2
or your number 3?
All right. I'll do my number 3.
Okay. What's your number 3?
My number 3 was the one I was super psyched for, and it delivered. Was Evil Dead Rise. I was very happy with Evil Dead Rise.
Yeah, that's Evil Dead Rise was great.
It felt like it was part of the universe, yet felt completely and wholly new. And I loved the cast. I loved that cast, and well, R.I.P. to that cast. But that cast, the casting, I thought I loved the dynamic of the sisters. I think that's what stuck with me the most. Was the older sister was very judgmental of the younger sister, but clearly the older sister was having problems too at the same time, and they somehow factored in this weird family drama inside the Evil Dead universe. That's
good. I love this movie too. I would say this is probably my number 4 or 5. What I loved about this one was how they were able to recreate the same feel of a cabin in the woods.
Yes.
At the top of a
building.
Apartment tower.
They're scary as hell.
Yeah.
Those buildings like that. Those old buildings with the bad lighting and the green and yellow walls.
Yeah.
I mean, it's terrifying. So, yeah. I thought it was great. I was really happy with it. And I'd hope to see more finding a way to... Let's start doing what people started doing for Die Hard. Yeah. Die Hard on a boat, Die Hard on a plane, that whole thing.
Yeah.
We got Evil Dead in a cabin, Evil Dead in a city. Let's find a way to Evil Dead something.
Yeah.
Somebody came up with a good idea. I don't know if it was on our feed or something, but they said, Evil Dead Express. I want Evil Dead on a train.
Evil Dead on a train, sure.
And I was like, wow, that's a great idea. Somebody needs to trademark that because you're going to get that stolen.
You get what you really get from these movies is Evil Dead just has its own vibe.
Yeah.
I was trying to explain what Evil Dead is to someone. It's hard to explain. You almost have to be in on it to understand it.
Yeah.
Right?
Fair.
Because like I said, I caught a sneak preview of Talk to Me. It's completely different vibe, but similar themes.
I love it, yeah. Oh, yeah, that was when you said you saw that, I didn't realize it doesn't come out till like the 28th.
Yeah.
Snuck one in.
Peter Rose, you have one.
Yeah, you ready? You gonna throw one in yet? You ready to pick? You ready to pick?
Gotta pull some teeth.
No push.
I've got 1 and 2, but man, I've got 3 is hard. Man, so I'm just judging these off by how much I liked the movie, the experience of watching it, how much I don't really judge movies based on how good they are. I judge how much I like them. Man, yeah. So I really, really want to put Air in there.
Air was good. Air was really good. Good pick.
As much as I like it, I think I have to give my 3 spot to John Wick 4. I had such a blast with that. And I think what seals the deal is the overhead tracking shot with that dragon shotgun.
Oh, yeah.
That scene alone just blew me away. But that whole movie is just nonstop. That's a nonstop just action. There's no slow moment. Even the slow moments are tense. But I loved everything about that film.
Yeah.
And I've seen it at least 3 or 4 times this year alone. I've gone back and rewatched it just because I really, really enjoyed it. And so, yeah, I think that Air was a better film, but man, I had so much fun with John Wick that I kind of have to give that my top.
I saw Air.
That's your top movie?
No, that's my third. That's my third spot.
Third spot.
Air was. I didn't even catch in theaters. I caught it at home, and it was
same.
Man, I didn't really enjoy that. I did pop on that too. So.
And those are the kind of movies that I love. I love, Air and Moneyball and Draft Day.
Oh, good.
Those 3 movies I can watch all day long, and I'm not even a sports nut, but I love inner workings of sports movies.
Yes.
Way more than sports movies themselves. I don't care about anything. I love Major League, but I'd rather watch Moneyball. And same thing with the inner
That's a
workings
great trilogy.
of sports is like that's a triple feature. I would program
that's a good
for
one.
myself. But no, John Wick 4 is kind of that's going to be my number 3.
All right. You heard the spoiler that they released what the ending was going to be?
Yeah.
You did see that?
Yeah.
All right. All right, Mario, you want to go or do you want me to go? What do you...
I've only got one more.
You got one more.
I don't mind. I'll drop it because I bet it might be on one of y'all's lists as well. I just think this movie totally rocked my world. I think it's hard. It's going to be hard to top. I think this is Oscar time, baby. This is revolutionary type stuff, man. Changing the comic book game. My pick has to be Across the Spider-Verse.
Oh, yeah.
Just not for just being a comic book movie. I just think this is a great piece of art.
Yep.
Everything about it, the way it looks, the script, I think, is revolutionary in a way. They're doing things without saying them. There's messages there, and they know how to bury them so they're not overt.
Yeah.
Piss off all the folks who, get upset about woke.
That was my number 1 as well too.
Number one.
Number one for
It's
me.
hard to top.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard to top. I don't know how we're going to wait for the new one. Is it going to take years?
They said March, I thought.
No.
No,
They've dropped that date.
Oh.
Now it's pending. TBA.
You know the thing about this movie that is really striking, because you guys know we reviewed it and I came fresh off my first viewing of it. I think it was almost ahead of what I was mentally prepared for.
Yeah.
Same, and I'd put that there's not many films that done that. Pulp Fiction is always the one top of mind. I had no idea what I just watched. I had no idea what I was going for until I watched it again. And I've watched Spider-Verse twice, and I can tell you that second viewing versus that first one, it just made it jump. And I have a feeling that this movie's going to continue to do that, because then I rewatched the first one and I remember, I had that same feeling with the first one. I had no idea what to expect. I don't think my brain was ready for it.
Yeah. And that's how it is. I feel the same way. When something is new and really is doing something you haven't seen before and giving you something where you don't know what to expect, it takes a while to process it. But you don't think it's bad. You never go,
exactly.
This was bad, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, no.
It's just wow, I need to engage with that again. I was looking at it the wrong way. I feel like I need to look at it again.
Yeah, David Lynch said that. He's you can read a book and this level of consciousness that you have can only take in so much. And then you go experience life, you do more reading, and then you expand that. And from that same exact piece of work, whether it's a book, music, or movie, you're going to get way more out of it that first time. I mean, and he's one of the goats.
Yep. All right, Jeff, give us your last one.
Yeah, so this is my number 2, but I mean it's up there. It's up there pretty tight. I was really excited for this one. I've been a mark for this franchise, and I know it was a little bit marred in the drama of the man who gave birth to the franchise, so that really disappoints me, but I feel like it really did honor the franchise for what it did, and that was Creed 3. And it sucks what happened with, obviously with the actor who's, on fire, and, with coming out as Kang and but I don't know. I'm a mark for Rocky, and I think that, Michael B. Jordan did a great job of passing the baton. We talked about this, when you want the franchise to really live, what you got to do is pass the baton where it feels something fresh, but you still honor what came before it. And usually people can only do one or the other. They can never do both. And I feel like they did both with this franchise. And I was all in with Creed, and I went and saw this twice. And I was like, okay, yep, I wasn't seeing things. I really did think that this was a great movie.
I agree. One of my favorite theatrical experiences of the year, for sure.
Yeah.
I think they promised us Rocky 3, and they delivered Rocky 3.
Yes.
It's what I wanted. It's what I wanted. It's what I expected. I like the flavor. Give me another one.
Yes. I would totally be all in for Creed 4.
B Rose, take us home.
Yeah,
Well, you
take
gotta
us
have
home.
some. You gotta have some. We got one or two left.
He's still pulling his teeth.
No, I think I've got. So obviously my number one was Spider-Verse, just because and it wasn't even close on that one. That was that's my number one.
It's
by
head and
far.
shoulders. It's a lock for best animated feature. It's got.
Oh yeah, it's gonna win
yeah.
that. It has a chance of being an actual best picture.
I think so too.
My number two, and it feels weird putting this above John Wick because I really did like John Wick, but this was the one that just shocked me. I went with my family. I took my wife and kids, not really expecting to really enjoy it. I figured it'd be okay, and I'd like some moments of it, but blew me away by how much fun I had, how rewatchable it is, and just like I could rewatch it right now. And that was Dungeons and Dragons.
All right, yeah.
I
Honor among
absolutely
thieves.
had a blast with that movie.
I just got that one on streaming. Definitely surprised me.
I was not I was not expecting to like it as much as I did, but I thought because even as not someone who played a lot of Dungeons and Dragons at all, because I grew up poor, I didn't have that kind of stuff. But knowing the ins and outs of it, I didn't feel lost.
No.
I got a lot of references, even though I'm not a habitual player or anything like that. But I thought they did such a good job of making it good and then accessible. And I know it's not always the good thing of like showing like a film's quality is how accessible it is, but that movie works on so many different levels, and it's just fun. Honestly, the last time I had that much fun watching a movie was Guardians 1. Like, that's just a screening where, like, you just sit down and it's just a blast. Like, I loved Guardians 3, but it's a different beast than 1 is. 1 is a lot more fun, and they've gotten progressively a little more dark and somber. But this one was just so bright and colorful, and honestly, the only reason that Spider-Verse beats it is because it's a superior film.
Yeah.
Like, the story and everything about Spider-Verse is superior, but I had just as much fun watching Dungeons and Dragons as I did watching Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that's.
I did, yeah. I caught that in theaters, and I remember being pleasantly surprised. I was like, "That was a good time." I had no heat with that movie, but this was tough. I'm gonna just give you guys some honorable mentions of movies that definitely danced around it, and I'm sure you guys danced around the same ones. I enjoyed Scream 6. Mm-hmm. That came out. I really, even though we saw most of it in the trailer, I felt like the extended version did deliver. I was happy with Megan. I remember being really happy in the theater with Megan, even though we saw a lot of the stuff was coming. One of the big ones that I really had trouble dancing around of like, oh man, I hate that this isn't in my top 3 because I was super excited for it was Knock at the Cabin. Knock at the Cabin was a good theatrical, even though it was a small movie in the sense, it was a cool theatrical experience of not knowing what is going to happen next. I mean, there's some honorable mentions in there. But we also had the year of some, a little bit, again, we talked about it, right? I think people were disappointed with Indy. People were disappointed with Flash. People are disappointed with Ant-Man. I mean, I can't believe Ant-Man came out this year. And I feel like it was here, and now it's gone. And we don't hear anything else about it. So, just to come full circle, Mario, on that spot we did. This was a busy, busy movie year, and we still have more to go. I mean, we had Shazam come and go, and people didn't care. People let it slide, but do we want to just say real quick, because I know you want to do that spot of what we're looking forward to, what one movie we're looking forward to for the second half of the year?
I mean, for me, I think it's going to be Dune 2. I think Dune Part 2 is going to be the one that I'm the most excited to see.
Okay. Mario, how about you?
Killers of the Flower Moon.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Want to see new Scorsese. I think summer movies and action all itself is going to peak here with Barbie and Oppenheimer. Dune 2 I want to see as well, but again, maybe it's because we didn't have a theatrical experience for it. I don't really care. It's like, okay, I'll see it.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I was going to tell you, I did you. I stood strong. I did not watch the trailer to Killers of the Flower Moon and didn't see it until we were sitting in the theater the other day. And I'm like,
nice.
Oh, okay, cool. I had no idea what this was about. I'm going to let my horror card mark out here. It's the 50th anniversary of The Exorcist, and I'm really, really curious. So I'm looking forward to the requel that is The Exorcist 50 years later and having a lot of the same cast. What are they going to do with that? And it's coming out in October, the month of horror.
And I believe Linda Blair's in it.
Yes, Linda Blair is in it. Ellen Burstyn is coming back in it. So I'm looking forward to that one. That's probably my big one for sure. But who are you kidding? I don't know about you guys. I've been pretty much at the movies every week, and I don't think it's stopping anytime soon.
Well, I mean, you will. About a year from now, there'll be nothing to watch. But
Oh, God.
we'll all be canceling our movie memberships again.
Oh, I can tell you what we'll be watching. We'll be watching Miami Connection, because that was really my favorite movie that I watched this year.
Awesome. Yeah, that's
But
great.
I mean, it wasn't released this year, but I just remember, I think we were going to film something. You're like, you want to just go catch a movie? And you're like, oh, Miami Connection's playing. I'm like, yeah, I'm hungry. Let's go to Alamo. And I was just like, I walked out a changed person. A changed person. That movie changed my life. Awesome. Well, let's go home. You guys want to go grab eat. So, B-Rose, thanks for coming in. Appreciate it. We're going to be dark next week. So we
got a super stream today, 3 hours.
Yes, we got the big super stream. But B-Rose, we're going to ask you, we'll put you on the spot here live. I mean, this chair is going to be empty a lot. With my son starting school in the fall, I'm going to be traveling back and forth. So would you do us the honor on some of these weekends to man the chair?
Yeah.
While I will be on the video screen on that. That would be really helpful. I figured, why not ask him live?
Yeah, I'm down for that. No, I hate coming here and doing this.
So we get to flip rolls. I don't know what kind of gear I'm gonna have behind me, but we're gonna make it work. So we're gonna do. But yeah, we'll be. So that's it for us. So enjoy your barbieheimer experience, and we'll see you on the other side.
Later, y'all.
Later.
Yeah, wait. I'm gonna go out on the Barbieheimer image.
Yes.
All right. See you at the end of Barbieheimer.